Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the OOR Simrigs Sprint Series in the GT4 Cup for Split Blue. My name is Liam Hamilton, and I'm joined here tonight by the lovely Aiden Squires. Aiden, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Good evening to everyone who is watching along on the broadcast. I'm looking forward to a 45-minute race without pit stops here in the GT4s tonight around, I'm sure, everyone's favorite circuit, Oulton Park. Cough, cough, not really. But yeah, we'll see. Tonight we've got lots of these lovely GT4s, lots of Ginettas, I assume will be quite high up on the grid due to this circuit being quite tight and twisty. 17 corners in total here. As I said, twisty track, very technical. It's going to be very interesting with the reverse championship grid. So we'll have to see how they can get along.
Yes, indeed. I usually sigh after I say Oulton Park. It's not one of my favourites. It feels like they basically made a go-kart track and then decided to put cars around it. But I think we've got the right cars for the job here in the slightly smaller GT4 cars, I suppose. I'm just seeing here some Maseratis on the grid. I kind of feel sorry for these guys with no traction control or no ABS, but they chose to live life the hard way, and I'm sure they know what they're in for. But as you mentioned, yeah, 45 minutes reverse championship starting position, so the quick guys will be at the back, and much like Zolder last week, another track with very little in the way of passing opportunities, so strap yourselves in for what I can only ensure will be a lot of chaos coming this way.
Yeah, last week we did have the fair share of Wingers racing, so I think we might be seeing some more of that tonight. Like you said, limited overtaking opportunities, faster drivers coming up from the back of the grid. I'll tell you what, it will be entertaining. I'll tell you that right now. But hopefully the stewards do not need some hard liquor delivered to their box.
I thought that was standard included in the package when you sign up to be a steward here.
Well, it wasn't when I was. Maybe yeah, maybe I joined at the wrong time.
Or I just got upgraded, I'm not sure, but either way, yes, definitely. Do you have any favourites here that we should be looking out for tonight? I hear Lucas Keys is in the pack, and he's going to be quick as always, but is there anyone else that these people should be keeping an eye on?
Look, I really want Patrick Johnson to be able to get past Lucas. I know that he's always following him around in these races, always right behind Lucas Marshall as well in the Ginetta. He's going to be one to watch as obviously this track is a little bit more suited towards a car like the Ginetta. There's no straights for it to actually run out of gearing, so the main downside of the car doesn't really apply anymore. But those are probably the two main drivers I'll be looking out for, Patrick Johnson and Lucas Marshall.
Yeah, certainly some quick operators up and down the field as per usual in our OR races. But as we stroll through the grid here and we take a look at all the cars, I'm noticing there is a lot of Porsches, and like you said, there's actually quite a large number of Ginettas, which usually when we run GT4 races, the Ginettas unfortunately don't get picked because, like you said, they just decided that gearing, suitable gearing was a bit of an option on those cars. I believe it was actually designed to be like the British Cup GT gearing in those cars, so should be perfect for this circuit in there now that we are at a British track. But yeah, going to be a interesting one, and like I said, these Maseratis, I kind of feel sorry for these guys already, but at least it will sound good.
Oh, look, if you've been watching some of the Maserati drivers like Scani and Steve Ty, I think they've been having some fun driving those cars. If you see some drifting objects in the background, you probably know it's one of those Maseratis going around. They'll always like to hang the tail out and make it a bit more fun to drive, as they are lacking some of the electronics we do take for granted in the GT3s.
I remember back in the day, Scani hosted a Maserati GT4 Cup. It was the first time I've driven the Maserati, and boy, that thing was a handful. ACC, not the kindest game to drive without assists being based around the GT cars that do come with that from standard. So yeah, he loves that car. I know he does. I'm not going to mention who won those races. It may or may have not been me, and I have a trophy to prove it. But yeah, as we roll away for the formation lap, and Muller on pole position, which means he. No, that I can't say that. That sounds rude. Muller on pole position and Foster in second place there.
Well, Muller's finally been able to take his pole position he's been itching for, because last week he was going to have it at Zolder as well, but he ended up jumping in the box with me. So now he's finally got that pole position. And I did notice his ping bar was red. I'm not sure, like all the way So I'm not sure if that's just an issue we're seeing right now, or if that is an actual problem. Because if he has got full red ping and he's on, 400 ping, that's going to make it very difficult for the people behind him to get past.
The extra wide McLaren that isn't going to stay in the same place as where you think it might actually be. Yeah, I did see that. That will be a little bit spicy.
It is doing some janky stuff right now.
Yeah, that's not quite how cars are meant to rotate. Yeah, hopefully he's able to sort that out, or his internet calms down before the start of this race, and hopefully we don't have to have any RD intervention to force him to go back to pits and lose the pole position that he rightly deserves.
Yeah, if I was him, I would be spewing coming through the second chicane here. I think it's called Hislop chicane as well, recorded with Zach Jensen in P3. So yeah, so the Chevy is starting on the front row, the one and only Chevy we have in this split as they line up double file. Still quite a bit of a way to go out to the line, but I'm guessing the RD is calling the shots. But yeah, a Camaro on the front row. We'll see how long he can hold on to that, because obviously Camaro probably isn't the best car for this track, although it can munch the curbs. Obviously you don't want to munch the curbs too much in these cars though, because they can tip over. They're not as big and wide as the GT3s are, obviously a little bit less heavy.
Yeah, as you said, I don't know if anyone's got that on their bingo card, but yeah, we might see someone fall over. Apparently, I heard it on the grapevine that did happen last week as well, and I have seen the Camaro fall over a few times. So, yeah, this will be an interesting one to see. But the Camaro does have a bit of straight line punch as well as we round the final corner and through that crest up until what maybe is the final corner. I don't know. This track's like a go-kart track, but to see the McLaren rotating not on its own axis as one of the Audis peels into the pit lane is an interesting way to start the race, as we are going green down into the first corner. The Camaro with the legs on the McLaren, like we thought. So we'll see if he's able to hold on to that one. Got to watch this first corner, and we have an absolute car park. That is going to be a massive safety car, as there is complete carnage into turn one, and that is exactly what we signed up for, Aiden.
Yeah. If that's on the bingo card, then that's already one ticked off 30 seconds in. So I'm guessing the Camaro is going to hold. Oh, we've got a red screen.
It's just the safety car graphic. It does that.
Yeah, okay, right. Fair enough. Yeah, the Camaro is going to hold first place, but we'll have to look back and see who's been affected, because obviously that happened about 3/4 the way down the grid. Obviously, some more of the quicker pro drivers will be back down that end of the grid where the incident happened, so hopefully they didn't get caught up in that and get a big whack of damage, because that could seriously impact the rest of their race.
Stewards will be having that hard liquor, I think, express delivered to their door. After that, they are going to be busy looking into that. I didn't really see what happened there. I was sort of too busy looking towards the front and seeing if anyone was going to cop a track limit out of turn one, which was nice and easy to do. So, yeah, as we get a replay here, it looks like we're on board with one of the KTMs here, and Maserati's just gone into the back of the KTM and absolutely speared them into the rest of the cars, and unfortunately there is nowhere else for anyone to go, and this track is not very wide at the best of times, especially when you've got three cars facing the wrong way, completely sideways. So Maserati with no ABS, do we think that was a skill issue and just maybe locking out one of the front wheels and unfortunately just tapping the back of the car in front?
Well, something to remember on these cars, they have no tyre warners, so you're starting in a car with no TC or ABS on completely stone cold tyres. As we get a replay here, so that's that Maserati. I think that's Josh McLaughlin. Just gives that KTM a love tap and sends it spinning, and then yeah, it's just chaos. I'm not sure who exactly we're on board with here, because I can't see the type of car. They made it through pretty safe, but yeah, like I was saying, the cold tires definitely was not helping in that whole start.
I think we're on board with the Alpine there. It looked like it was the same color scheme as the Camaro, but it was too far forward. So maybe the Audi that peeled into the pit lane maybe made the right call, just try and stay out of the chaos and opt for a pit lane start. And I don't know if that's worked. I don't know who that was that peeled in, but that may have worked as we go green again for the second restart of this race. And Foster with a big lead already, so leaving Muller with a lot of work to do to try and catch back up here as we're kind of side by side a little bit further in the background there. little bit cleaner of a start this time now that everyone's spread out, and you see some weaving down the straight. Still a little bit of carnage, but hopefully everything's settled down. So people maybe just trying to get some heat into these tyres. Like you mentioned, there is no tyre warmers here as we come down side by side into turn 3 across the bumps. If you're on the outside here, you fall out of that camber, and there is absolutely no grip out there as we see more dust being kicked up across as people run wide off the edge of these curbs, and you're gonna have to watch out for these tyres as we. Oh, that's
Oh
a lot
wow,
of
is that
blast for
3
that
wide?
Porsche. We just
Oh
go
my
side by side into Island Bandelli 3 wide as we are alive, I think. Yep, everyone makes it through. Yeah, this is going to be carnage.
Yeah, as we're still going 2 by 2 through the first
Shell
sector.
oil hairpin.
Yeah, shell oil. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. As we head in to the first chicane here, 2 wide, side by side. Hopefully they can get it all sorted out. Yeah, it seems all good. The Aston runs it a little bit wide, and Lucas is able to just drive through. Oh no, the Maserati of, I think that's Steve Ty, just goes shooting off the track. Obviously, the lack of traction control not helping him here as Lucas Keys and Igor Zavaka are going side by side. Igor gets a little bit of a moment on the exit, and that allows Lucas to just drive past. As you get a replay here. Oh, yep, there's the Maserati. Just, does he get a bad bounce or something? Touches the grass. Oh, yeah, bounces over the exit, and yeah, with no traction control. You've got nothing to save you at that point, so
Yeah, a bit of a bump and lit up the rear wheels, and around she went. But that is what you sign up for in the Maseratis, because still side by side, that is a very busy lap. So always that is a bad place.
Was that Stroll Muller?
I think that's
I think
Muller.
that's Stroll Muller. Oh no, he's stopped in a very bad spot there. Hopefully everyone can see him before they get around the corners. Oh my gosh, I think that came. Oh, did he make it through? I think he did. It's close.
As Muller returns back to the pit. So I'm not sure what happened there, whether his game crashed or his internet gave up, but we'll see a replay of that very soon, I assume there. But yeah, unfortunate for Sean Muller here, as we do see a replay that this KTM, I'm not sure who that is, but they are the luckiest person alive if they managed to keep that out of the other side wall, because they must have come around the corner completely blind just to find a McLaren park across the exit as misses by a mere millimeter. Oh no, he does get
he didn't catch him. But I think the ping from Muller actually saved the KTM from getting shot off himself, because the contact did look a bit net Cody. So I think he made it through, but we run on board with Callum Gibbons, and I think that's Patrick Johnson, as Patrick Johnson makes the move into the first chicane on Callum Gibbons. Lucas Keys is already up into P14, so oh my gosh, we've got a little bit of glitching going on with cars teleporting around the space, but I think that's Jamie Conboy in the background as well, looking for a move on, I'm not even sure who that, I think that's Matt Madden in the Alpine. The timing tables are taking their sweet time to update, so it's kind of hard to see where everyone is.
I don't know what else you expect for Kunos, but yeah, a bit of a train forming here as we come into Druids, one of about 4 different circuits in the UK that, as we see more carnage, the Alpine spearing into the Maserati. I think that was the Alpine of Matt Madden there, just getting bumped off through Druids, I'm pretty sure, as we go, 2 wide into the final corner, a late move, the Ginetta, and the Aston Martin of Gibbons there turns into him, and he's getting escorted out wide. That's going to put him on the back foot there as the 2 Ginettas. That looks like he's looking for a move up on to, I think that's Marshall on the inside. Sorry, no, Zavaka on the inside of Beaton there, and that's going to put Beaton out wide, and he's going to get swamped by, he's going to lose 3 positions down here into turn 3. So he hold on to the next Ginetta. He's going to try and go around the outside, really deep into the corner. I think he might have sort of backed out of that one a little bit, Jeff, and just played it safe.
Yeah, so that Maserati involved in that little incident we saw before was Jamie Conboy, so that's another pro that's been sent to the bottom, unfortunately, in their journey through the field, which is, I mean, it's not uncommon, especially in these sort of reverse grid races where you've got faster drivers trying to come through. There's a lot of risks that have to be taken, but Lucas Marshall is now going to try chase the rest of his mates who have just left him. This is that replay of the Maserati. Oh, wow, he's taking that very aggressive. Oh no, the Alpine is just, yeah, completely misjudged that, and unfortunately just body slammed that Maserati into the second last corner, as we see a very sad looking Maserati. Yeah, he has got what is the beginnings of a flappy bonnet, and he's being chased by Patrick Johnson, so he's going to have his work cut out for him. So we're right on board with Lucas Keys behind. This is probably Bagtold in the Porsche, if the timing tower is to be trusted, as Lucas pulls out to look for a move. He's going to think better of it for now, but he's made Bagtold run wide, so he might be able to capitalize by just poking that nose in, putting Bagtold off, and now he's got to run, as they might come side by side, although it looks like the Porsche's pulled out some of the gap, but Lucas is just going to send it anyway. We know how Lucas is. He's a very confident driver, so he gets the pass done into turn 1.
Yeah, Lucas doing Lucas things, and I wouldn't expect anything less from him there. I did see that in that replay there, I think Madden just dropped some wheels onto the grass there, and that is unfortunately what's caused him to lose control and spear into the side of the Maserati that he took off. So, yeah, super easy to do around this circuit. It's so narrow and hard to see as we see, oh, the Porsche trying to go a little bit deep into that hairpin, just missing the back of the Aston Martin. I don't know exactly who that is because the timing tower is not playing ball right now, but yeah, that was Tanayake. There he is, looking for the wrong color, looking at purple instead of red. I need to remember how this works. Yeah, as we see, there's a bit of a train forming behind Tanayake. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 cars, and Keys just catching the back as the Porsche in front of Keys goes defensive. That is Miller there, just going defensive into the chicane. One of probably 2 spots where you can sort of look to make a move. And commenting of people putting wheels on the grass and dropping wheels off of curbs, as we see Keys is getting very interested in the back of that Porsche as he defends it once again. And they're going side by side ahead of him, and there's a bump, and that's going to escort the green Porsche out onto the grass, and Lucas Keys up yet another position.
Yeah, Lucas just carving his way through the field here. Is that red? I think that's Aston driving that. Yeah, and that Aston just looks for the move but can't get it done, and now that's going to put him under threat from, I think that's Josh McLaughlin in the no TC, no ABS Maserati, as he puts the nose down the inside. Oh, as the Aston just keeps that speed going around the outside and just sweeps over the nose of the Maserati. As we see Lucas just getting onto the back of this group now. He knows that if he can just get through these guys pretty quick, he'll have a really good shot at moving through the rest of the packs to get to the leader, who's currently Zach Jensen. I'd imagine Zach is doing all he can to put as much of a gap on as possible, as Lucas looks for the move on Miller and puts him off, and Miller runs wide. He might actually smash into those tyre barriers if he can't get it stopped. Unfortunately for him, when you go off there, there's not much you can do. It's just grass. As we've got these two again. If anyone was watching last week, you'd know that these two had a bit of a battle together. So it's Josh McLaughlin and Lucas Keys. As McLaughlin has been given a 15-second penalty. I believe that's for the start, for the starting incident. As we see Igor, just miscalculates that move and escorts the Aston off the track. I forgot who that green Aston is. I think it's Gibbons.
Hold the line, caller. I will find out in a second for you.
I would assume, looking at the timing tower,
yes,
it is Gibbons. As Lucas now hounding the back of Tanayake, as Lucas again just mind punting everyone in front of him. It just seems like when people get Lucas behind them, they just forget how to take the corner. So that's 2 people in 1 lap. Lucas is just completely mind punted. So.
Yeah, there's an exit stage left for Tanayake. It just opens the door up for Lucas to come sailing on through. Yeah, a couple of penalties given out there that I can only assume was for the start of the race. Unfortunately, didn't see the race control bot pop up there with those. But yeah, stewards obviously have been hard at work figuring out what happened in that mess at the start. As we see another Porsche escorted wide and deciding to take some more track limits on board, as we get yet another replay of some more impending chaos as we're on board behind one of the Maseratis and just runs a little bit wide through Island Bend onto the grass. Does he make the barrier or does he shoot the gap?
I think that was the Porsche of Miller who got escorted wide by Lucas.
Yes, just comes back inside the barrier. It's, like you said, it's a little bit scary to run off of that corner because you either aim for the gap and hope you don't annihilate anyone else at the next hairpin, or end up in the wall with a very dead car. So, yeah, well done by the Porsche there to keep it out of the barriers and not kill anyone else in the process. So we see Mercedes looking pretty racy here on the back of Miller. Tries to have a look through the chicane, not quite enough room to go side by side through there, and that's going to hopefully give the Mercedes there of Johnson a bit of a run as Miller goes defensive, and he's going to have to sit behind for yet another lap. I feel like Lucas Keys was at the back of that train 2 laps ago, and all of a sudden he's on the back of a Taniyaki, so he is making really quick progress through this field. As I see another position there, just watch the timing tower change, get ahead of Oliver, and that puts Keys up into 5th place already, and we're only 15 minutes, not even 15 minutes into this race, so he's still on for a podium, if not trying to chase down the winner.
Oh, look, if last week's anything to go by, he only got into P2 with about 15 minutes left, so I think he's definitely on track here. As we see Patrick Johnson now making the move on Miller. So last week we saw Johnson follow Keys through at a lot of the overtaking spots at Zolder, but he hasn't really been able to keep up that same pace and follow Lucas through. So it looks like it's going to be between him and Marshall, who is currently on the inside of Miller in that Ginetta. So I think he's got the move done. It's going to be close. Yes, as Marshall just uses those Ginetta brakes to great effect and just slots in front of Miller. But yeah, so Johnson and Marshall have kind of been left by Lucas, unfortunately, which means it will probably be Lucas's win. But we'll see if these two can at least get close to the podium, as Lucas is already on the back of John Foster, as that's a Camaro rejoining
That's
the
Foster.
track. Yeah, that's Foster who's off. Okay, doesn't rejoin in front of these two. That would be a bit of a disaster. Stays off the track. Well done to him for rejoining safely, as Lucas is trying to attack. Oh wait, there's 2 J Fosters. I've just realised the Camaro and the McLaren are both J Foster. That's a little bit confusing.
That's not confusing. Yeah, you're right. And as you can see, the other J Foster there in the Camaro must have got an unlucky bounce on off that curb at the chicane, and has started to cause a little bit of a train back there as people spread out trying to make the most of any gap that might appear. As we see Keys right on the back of the other J Foster here. He's going to send a nose towards the inside and try and fake it, go for the mine punt again, but Foster is wise enough to just hold his line. He's not quite close enough to make a move. He's trying to get a good exit out of the final corner there, and once again, probably going to try and show the nose, but he's going to be not close enough this time, and we'll have to wait yet another lap. So we see a replay here as he gets very sideways onto the turning into that corner and just lost the back end. So not quite sure what happened there, whether he caught a bump or locked the rears, but that looked a little bit strange, I think. So something a little bit unusual must have happened there to cause that big of a slide.
Yeah, so the McLaren is actually the fastest GT4 car. It's only 1 or 2 Ks down on the Honda. As I say that, Lucas just drives around Foster. Okay, thanks for that, Lucas. But just completely proving me wrong. And
As you do.
See, yeah, so you see Josh McLaughlin just sitting right on the back of the Camaro of Jacob Foster. So it must be John and Jacob Foster that we're seeing. As we see this gaggle of cars, there's about 7 of them all in this group now, bunching up. Patrick Johnson's in the middle of that, and so is Lucas Marshall towards the back. So obviously Jacob Foster is an AM driver, so I would expect him to be a little bit slower than some of the drivers behind him, which is going to create a bit of a bottleneck, as we see Patrick Johnson just going for the confidence moves as he hits the curb and bounces, keeps it going, doesn't lose control of the car, and actually looks to get the move done. Yes, he does. So he just gets that car in front of the Porsche behind him. I think that's Baketold. Yes, it is. So now he can start to work on trying to overtake Ben Oliver, the 99 Porsche in front of him, and the Maserati Camaro in front of them too.
Yeah, Johnson just making the most of being in this train as he looks towards the inside of that Porsche, but not enough room to move across to get one down there. Yeah, Johnston making the most of being in that train and taking every opportunity that he can. It's a little bit difficult to try and drive in these trains because you're watching the car ahead, but you've also got to keep an eye on the mirrors, and what all that's doing is just inviting the cars further behind to close in even more. So difficult to drive and defend and attack at the same time, but beautiful job there by Johnston as he looks to get on the back of Tanner, I believe that is, to make up yet another move. The train kind of spreads out just a little bit, make a little bit more gap as Johnston hopefully has a good run here on Tanner into Island Bend. He's up the inside well and truly, and he's going through, and I think Tanner just kind of lets him have that one, and it's no use fighting, trying to go around the outside of Island Bend. It's going to leave him vulnerable into the Shell Oil hairpin, as we see that would be...
I think that's Baketold.
Yeah, sending up the inside, a little bit more grass there by Tanner. And he's going to hold position through the chicane as we go over the curbs. And through this corner here is a little bit of grass, and that looks like a horrible bounce there for Bechtold. It's going to leave him vulnerable to McDowell as he's going towards the outside. So Bechtold trying to defend as he goes late on the brakes and hold the inside. Are we going to see any door rubbing? There it is. There's the contact, and he's going to escort Bechtold out onto the grass, and that's 3 positions down there for Bechtold.
Yeah, I mean, oh no, he just touches that grass.
Oh no!
Oh no, he's gone into. You know what I was just gonna say? I was just gonna say, well, looking at the kind of trains we've got going, it won't take him long to catch back up to it, considering everyone's kind of running in a conga line. But then he had the unfortunate meeting with Barriard just then. Another thing I've just noticed is the penalties are starting to come through. So we've got John Foster in the McLaren with the 10-second, McLaughlin with that 15-second, as he is now under threat from Patrick Johnson. I think Johnson might just hold place for now and look for a more opportune move, which he does. Yeah, he's right on the back of him now. He might go for another move at Island Bend as we cut back to Lucas Marshall and Dylan McDowell. Marshall trying to put the pressure on so he can follow Johnson through, as we can see Johnson just in front of him up here, pressuring that Maserati as they run side by side into Island Curve. Are they going to make it too wide? Yes, they are. Lots of respect shown. Good for both of those drivers. The Ginetta just edges ahead, but that will give the inside line to the Porsche, who holds that cambered inside line, maintains the speed on the inside, and now, oh no, the Ginetta's just gotten the drive off the corners and is able to slot in ahead. I think Johnson is still stuck behind that Maserati as well, if the time table is correct.
Yeah, I think you're right there, and he certainly is. And then behind the Camaro, Foster. Does that count as a or as we see a BMW, I think those are off in the background. Does that count as a curse if you didn't say it but you thought it? I think that's like a next level skill to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, it's like the telepathic commentator's curse.
Yeah, I see you're fitting well into the comm booth.
Yeah, that's my first curse. Although I haven't had one out loud yet, so try not to, touch wood.
The time will come as we see Johnson looking towards the inside of the Maserati of McLaughlin as he sends it on through into the final corner, and will probably get a better exit than Maserati actually having TC, and he's going to now go and chase down Foster. So we see a replay here on board with an Aston Martin. We see too much curb and a spin, or what are we going to see here? Get nicely through the chicane, bit of a run on the back of the Porsche.
Oh, this is Lucas.
Keys.
Yeah.
And I believe it looks like he's just getting let past there. So I'm not sure who that is in the Porsche, opting not to fight for position. I think that might have been Spenceley. I'm not sure if he got a bad run, but yeah, it looks like he just handed the position to Keys, opting not to fight, maybe risking any damage, as we see Johnson getting very close to the back of Foster as he's going to there's a Mercedes width into that hairpin there as he sends it on through, and that's going to make Johnson vulnerable here to McLaughlin as well, getting really close to the back of the Camaro. So we send it across the curb into the chicane as Foster gets an awkward bounce, and that's going to invite McLaughlin alongside him here, and he's going to sail on past with that awkward exit there for the Camaro. As we see, there's still a train further back here. We're on board with Graham Hill, looking for a move into the chicane, but he's not quite close enough there. So, yeah, still lots of battles up and down this field and lots of tight cars.
Yeah, as that Camaro just did not look happy through this first chicane there. Just looked very unstable, not particularly happy. As we go on board with Stevie Ty, who was that Maserati who speared off the track on lap 1 or 2, as he is now challenging. I think this is Tanner. There is a few green Porsches, so don't exactly quote me on that, but the timing board says it's Tanner, so that's what we'll go with. I think it is Tanner, yeah. There's Stephen Ty.
Never lies.
Yeah, of course. There's Stephen Ty, obviously a very quick driver. He's going to have a look maybe down this main straight. The Maserati pretty good on top end. He's going to slot in behind, or very, very close, almost pushing that Porsche through the corner, and that Porsche is pretty quick through the corners, so Stevie Ty is definitely pushing that Maserati, giving a slide on the exit as well, as they run downhill through the long
I see a yellow flag at the end of Island Bend, just pointing that out, as we might see some sadness here in a second.
Yeah, that number 6 has been off a few times. I can't remember exactly who's in that car, as we see Yeah, it's that KTM, the lucky KTM that we said before has seemingly ran out of luck. So he's just sitting there, hopefully waiting for a safe moment to rejoin the track.
Yeah, as we come through the Britain chicane, I've got the track map up now, I can see what's going on. KTM's still sitting on the side, unfortunately not a lot of gaps there for him to fall into, so you see, looks like there's a move there between Foster and the Ginetta, who will come out ahead into, as we go through Hislop into Knickerbrook. It looks like the Ginetta's going to come out on top, so that would be Marshall, I believe that is ahead of Foster, so Marshall making his way back through the field and probably going to try and chase down Johnson, see if he can close him up. That KTM's still sitting there. I wonder if there might have been a technical issue there or some sort of hardware failure that's happened for the KTM.
Yeah, I would have expected him to at least start moving by now. As you said that, he's gone moving, so maybe he's gotten that fixed. As seeing more penalties now being dished out across the board. Dylan McDowell has the DT, which I would assume is due for track limits, but I'm not too well versed on the track limits here. Maybe he's ran T1 a bit too late, too wide a few times, and he's gotten the DT, which will send him down pretty far considering how small this track is.
Yeah, the track limits here are pretty brutal. Turn 1, very easy to pick up and track limit the exit, and these chicanes here as well are pretty tight and a little bit unforgiving to take a little bit too much curb, especially in these softer and higher, more road-based GT4 cars. Don't mind taking a bit of a curb, and I think it's going to be even easier to cut this track and cop yourself some track limits there. So I'm surprised it's only the first one that we've seen so far as that DT is being cleared and Tanayake is being dropped down to probably 20 or 21st behind Convoy. So yeah, that's a brutal one for him to take.
I reckon Lucas is probably going to be able to pull out enough gap to serve himself a DT if he does get one, considering he's already in P2. We'll see how quickly he closes this 10 seconds. Last race at Zolder, he closed, I think it was 15 seconds in about 8 laps. As we go on board with Jensen in the lead, has he had a little mistake here? That will bring Lucas closer as we just look at that absolutely magnificent Ginetta livery. As so Jensen's gone off, which is definitely not doing him any favors in trying to keep Lucas behind him. Dare I say that's kind of deserved for that absolute shocker of a livery. Yeah, as the gap is now dropped down to 5 seconds, so yeah, I dare say Lucas is probably going to be passed by the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, that gap kind of half of that mistake. He did pretty well to keep it out of the barriers and not spin it. As far as going off at Oulton Park goes, he did a pretty good job there to still keep it fairly safe. But yeah, as you said, that gap is basically halved now. So we'll see what kind of pace Lucas has in the Aston compared to the Ginetta and see how quickly that one closes up. We'll keep an eye on it. So we see Graham Hill trying to hold off Stevie Ty in the Maserati. So Stevie Ty, a very quick operator, the Maserati, not the easiest car to drive, no ABS, no TC. So hopefully he's able to hold that one off as we see Johnson now up the back of Oliver and the other Foster. We see lots of curb being used by the Mercedes, gets good run, is going to put him, if he can get the power down, going to put him towards the inside for the Hislop chicane. Probably one of the best places to get a move done is he's side by side, he's going to look through, send the nose in, and Oliver gives him plenty of room and allows him on through. So one more position down for Johnston is now going to catch up to the back of John Foster and look for yet another move, and unfortunately it looks like Lucas Keys has run away, and like you said last week, Johnston was able to sort of follow Keys through, but he's gotten a little bit more unlucky, I think, this week with the traffic and the opportunities that have been presented to him. So we'll see how that goes. Keys, I think I saw, has already gained another second on Jensen, so he is not slowing down anytime soon. We'll probably see by that in the back, up the back of Jensen in the next 5 minutes or so, I'd have to guess. So it's still definitely on for the lead if he can make a move there. Yeah, going to be an interesting one as we see now Foster and Graham Hill up the back of Foster, trying to get a run through. He's going to show the nose to the inside, but not quite close enough. He's going to fake a move and see if he can get Foster to defend, but not quite. Foster holds his ground. He's just showing the nose there. He's not quite going to be side by side. I think it would be pretty impressive. Foster defends, but runs deep and falls out of the camber of the road. And once you do that, you are pretty much gone. as he's going to concede the position to Miller as well. 2 positions down in one corner, and that's going to invite Stevie Ty up as well, who is doing his best to catch back up to Foster, and probably won't be too long before he gets through.
Yeah, once you lose momentum through the corners, you just seem to drop back, and just the cars keep coming behind you, and it's quite demoralizing to just be caught with a bunch of very quick drivers who just overtake you one after the other. But for Johnson, he is stuck behind the McLaren, so he's probably going to have to do a move in the more twisty parts of the track, because if we watch here, he's right behind the McLaren at the start of the straight, and once that McLaren gets into third gear, it's just going to walk away. So Johnson's just going to have to craft something up in the corners or the brakes. That said, the McLaren is pretty terrible on the brakes. They don't seem to do much, and you can't move the bias, so they're certainly very far off the best in this field. Is that yellow car is number 6? That's that KTM again, having some issues. Hopefully he's nice and safe off the track and won't cause any issues for anyone if it's hardware related. As Patrick is just trying to set up with his incredibly high effort livery on the side of his car. Cough, cough, not really.
It says livery on it. It's bonus points to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess, because there aren't too many custom liveries in this series. I think there's been some livery bot issues over the last few weeks, so we're not seeing as many custom ones as we normally would. So I guess we can give him a pass with that in mind.
It does what it says on the tin. As we see back onto the back of that McLaren again, kind of the way that walks away on the straight, it's kind of given me PTSD from Coda being stuck behind the Mercedes and the Ferrari, but McLaren, as Johnson takes a lot of speed through that chicane, able to use all of the curb and some, but like you said, the McLaren just going to walk away, which means Johnson's not going to be close enough to make any moves. He's going to have to sit behind for yet another lap, unless something bad happens. He's not really going to be able to... Oh, that's all. He is using all of the curb. He is absolutely munching all of it, so got to be careful not to drop a wheel on the outside of that curve there. But yeah, trying everything he can do to build the corner speed to get any run on the McLaren, but as you said, it just walked off down the straight, and I know that feeling is super frustrating. So he might be stuck behind here for a little bit, and might even allow Ben Oliver to close on up being stuck behind. So we'll see how that pans out. As we see, I'm just looking at the timing down. Keys is less than a second behind Jensen already, so 15 minutes left in this race. We'll see if he's able to make a move, or if Jensen's able to hold him off. Going to be an interesting battle brewing up there, but yeah, I feel sorry for Johnson here a little bit, because this track's hard enough to overtake as it is, especially when you're stuck behind a car that's got way more straight line speed than you. It almost feels like it's unfair, as he's going to have a little bit more of a run here down to turn 3, a bit closer, but yeah, not close enough. As looks like he's a little bit wide there, is Foster. It's going to allow Johnson to the inside through Island Bend as we go side by side. He's definitely close enough here, and he's going to shove the nose, and he's not going to let that one go as we go side by side around Island Bend. He's going to try and hold it around the outside. He's going to send it back up in the hairpin. Not quite. Another position up for Johnson. Very nice driving from the two of them there.
Yeah, just able to stick his nose in and kind of put the McLaren off going into Island Bend. Like I was saying before, I did actually put down to drive the McLaren in this series, but I kind of thought better of it. It is a very one-trick pony sort of car. It goes very fast. It's basically like the Lexus of GT4s, I guess, as we go on board with Lucas right on the back of the Ginetta of Zach. As we see Eric Scarney just getting a 10-second penalty in the background on the timing tower. Lucas is, I wonder if he's going to try to get this move done as soon as possible, or if he's going to take his sweet time, because I mean, let's be real, the closest car behind them is almost 15 seconds back, so Lucas can definitely afford to take his time. However, it does not seem he's doing so in typical Lucas fashion. He's going to stick the nose down the inside and go for a very confident move on Zach Jensen.
Oh
no! They've caught
Both
each
of
other.
them!
Oh, I've just cursed them, haven't I? Well, that's my first out loud curse, saying that they're 15. They're only, they're 15 seconds in front of the next car. Looks like Jensen is gonna lose the position probably, as he's gonna have to get going, and he's gonna lose all his momentum. So very unfortunate for both of them. I dare say that might be an invoice if that's on your bingo card for Lucas. Just we might have to get a replay of that, but yeah, unfortunate for both of them.
we're not supposed to speculate as commentators, but I think you're right. There's going to be an invoice coming for one of them, and I think I know which one that might be, unfortunately. Although, we'll see. He may have got pinched up the inside, but I did see Jensen just getting a bit of a slide out of Lodge coming up through Deer Leap and just allowed the nose of the Aston Martin of Keys alongside. So we'll see what happens here as we see Keys. Jensen trying to defend really hard, keeps him really tight towards the inside. Keys is going to send it to the inside, and he looks like he just gets on the grass, just tags the back of the Ginetta there as he goes through the Ginetta. That's not quite how that's supposed to work. Yeah, I think we unfortunately know where the fault may lie on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that first corner obviously is fairly difficult to make a move done through there because it's so fast. So there is a bit of a potential for incident, as Zach's car is now looking a bit sad, as he's now got Patrick Johnson right behind him, looking for the move. That Ginetta, already pretty slow on the straights, I would imagine would be a bit slower now with all that damage on the front of it. So Patrick might just have to wait until the next straight, and he might just be able to drive past. That Mercedes isn't too bad on the straights. It's certainly not the best, but I would dare say it's better than a broken Ginetta.
Yeah, I will say some very nice defending going on for Jensen here, trying to hold on for dear life as we see nearly the same thing happen. That's going to put Johnson to the outside of turn 3 if he can't. No, he's already passed. Yeah, that Ginetta definitely holding a lot of damage. Not quite flappy bonnet, but Johnson running a little bit wide, but yeah, that Jensen, try and combine the words, does not look like it's driving very friendly. I'm surprised it isn't a flappy bonnet, as I dare say is probably 10, 15 seconds of damage to the front of that car. And considering he had a Aston Martin basically go through him, I tend to know if that happens, you do get a lot of damage. So that car not going to be handling very nicely at all. And as you said, down on what little straight line speed it already had, is going to make his life even harder. So we see a 10-second penalty already applied for Lucas Keys. So the steward's getting quick to the work. And I'm sure that liquor that they have express ordered must be kicking in now.
Yeah, although I'm not sure that 10 seconds to Lucas is going to do much, considering he's already almost 10 seconds clear of Joe Spenceley, who is the car in second place. Shout out to Joe Spenceley. Very well done by him. I think he's just ran a pretty clean... I haven't seen him in any incidents or anything so far. He's just run a nice, clean race, doing very well for a Pro-Am driver, obviously in second place. That said, he does have Johnson behind him, followed by Jensen, so we'll see if he can hold on in these last 10 minutes. A podium for a Pro-Am would be very nice for someone like him, so I hope I'm not cursing him right now, but yeah, my best of wishes to Spenceley to see if he can try hold on.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too much of Spencer at the moment. It's having a bit of a George Russell or a Carlos Sainz driver, just quietly doing the right things. We see a BMW off again at Druid, staying out of the way of these three. Tim Gobe on the back of the train with Gibbons and Tanner, I believe that is, and also Foster in the Camaro. So Foster, unfortunately, has dropped quite a few positions here. So the Camaro is probably struggling a little bit this circuit, not quite what it's built for. As we see all the Maserati on the outside there, I think that is McLaughlin and Miller, with Stevie Ty looking to clean up the pieces of this one as well as we go down into Cascade turn 3. Looks like he's going to maybe run a little bit wide, but not wide enough. That is very wide. That's a lot of grass, and that's going to allow Miller up to the inside, and he's not over yet. He's going to get down the inside, and looks like Stevie Ty was still trying to find a way through. He's going to get really close, and he's going to have to send it to the inside of the hairpin, and he does so, just leaving space there, McLaughlin, for Stevie Ty to come through, and that's going to put him now on the outside of the chicane. I know firsthand this is not where you want to be for this corner, and probably, as he gets done on the brakes nice and early, and I think McLaughlin just letting him have that one a little bit. So we're going to see a replay here of Foster in the McLaren. Ginetta going down the inside. Nice and clean. Move for position.
Are we going to see some of that McLaren top speed here against the Ginetta?
I was about to say, we don't usually see a clean replay. I was waiting for the carnage, but yeah, nice move there for the Ginetta.
As we jump back on board with Patrick Johnson, who's now leading the charge after... Oh no, I think he's just gone past Spencer. Yeah, he has. So Spencer in that red Porsche has been overtaken by Johnson. So this might be unlikely, but if Johnson can get the absolute hammer down and gain, 1.5 seconds on Lucas. Lucas will finish behind him with that 10-second penalty.
Yeah, it's not
So
out of the question yet. I was just thinking the same thing. It's the first time with Johnston actually having some clean air, so we'll see what kind of pace he's able to do. Obviously, Keys is going to have damage from that incident as well, as Gap's already come down half a second, so he might still be on for a win here. So, we'll have to keep an eye on that one and see whether he's able to make up that time in clean air. Obviously, his car, Johnston's Mercedes, is going to be a lot healthier than the Aston Martin of Lucas Keys, so definitely not out of the question. As we see yet another yellow flag, just a normal day at Oulton Park in GT4 cars. Nice little train here with Foster and the Porsche of Tanner through the Shell Oil hairpins, and looks like there is that Gibbo? No, that is Gibbo, and then Tim Go behind as well, the 4-car train. Lots of these little trains forming. Kamara taking a lot of curb. The Porsche not able to take that much, but it looks like he's going to get a good run. Tanner has Foster defends. Tanner's going to have to look towards the outside of the Hislop chicane. Not going to be able to find any way through there as he backs out of the position, but Gibbons still keen to... Oh, has to check up mid-corner there. I think Foster just caught him out off guard a little bit slower than he was thinking, as that's a lot of inside curb. The big bounce, and the Aston is now going to try and motor on through. And he's going to leave the inside open onto the grass, coming up to Druids. That is not where you want to be. He managed to recover the car back on track, just losing position there to Tim Gobe.
I think a few of the drivers just forgetting they're not in GT3s. You don't have the aero in these cars that you do in the GT3s. A lot of these corners, you have to be so much more careful with the speed you bring through and your lines you take, because these cars rely a lot on mechanical grip, and you know, you can't just send it in at high speed and hope that the aero will stick you to the road. As we go on board with Joe Spenceley, who's now behind Zach Jensen. Jensen in 3rd place, so I mean, it could be worse considering his incident a few laps ago. See if he can hold off the Porsche and the Ginetta. The good news for him is that these are 2 cars behind him that aren't particularly amazing on the straights, so he might have a bit more of a chance if he's able to place the car well and make the drive out of the corners bad, as Spenceley is now being attacked by Marshall as they go down the back straight into the 2nd chicane, into Hislop chicane. And yeah, Marshall has got through, so Spenceley unfortunately just starting to catch the start of this train of quick cars that are moving through the field, as he's now got the McLaren of John Foster right behind him.
Yeah, while this is all happening, it looks like it may be good news for Johnson. The gap closing down to 10.7 with just under 5 minutes left in this race. Where has the time gone? I feel like it's only been about 20 minutes so far. So a little bit of time left in this race still for Johnson to close up that gap. Probably a little bit more pace left in the Mercedes compared to what Key's able to extract out of that damaged Aston Martin. So Johnson's going to be pushing hard. So we see 10.8, so it's kind of stabilized a little bit, but I think overall Johnson's going to have a little bit more pace on Keys, and he's going to be pushing hard to try and get within that 10 seconds to see if he can steal a win at the last second there. So the McLaren of Foster up behind Spenceley. Like you said, the McLaren with a lot of straight line speed, so hopefully an advantage here trying to attack the Porsche. At the moment, he's a little bit too far back. We're just seeing Marshall now catch up to the back of Jensen. So Jensen with a very damaged car from that incident earlier with Keys. So hopefully, as we see the KTM, unfortunately, out in the grass yet again. Not what we want to see. But yeah, Jensen's going to have to fight for dear life. Big slide coming out of the hairpin up to the Britain chicane. Not really enough space to make a run here, but if he's able to follow him well, takes a lot of that curb. I can't believe that. Gets a nice run. This Jensen's GT4 car is going to be down a little bit on straight line speed with that damage, I would say, as he kind of hold middle of the road, kind of defensive, kind of not quite. Oh, there we go. We do see a bit of flappy bonnet. Not going to be the nicest car to drive, holding a lot of damage. As we come through Knickerbrook up towards Druids, is Marshall, I think, he's nice and close. I don't know if he's going to get pushed towards the outside. He's going to probably poke the nose out last second, and Jensen just placing the car exactly where he needs to not allow Marshall to have any look towards the inside, and just falling back just a tiny bit. We'll have to see what the difference in speed is between those 2 cars, with Jensen with that much damage, and he's just placing the car exactly where he needs to, not all the way to the inside compromising his run to the corner, kind of just putting it in the middle of the circuit, this track being so tight that you can kind of get away with that, because any tighter than the mid-track, you're kind of compromising way too much speed at the apex, as we see Marshall getting a much better run through turn 1. The old Hall corner coming down to turn 3. He's going to have to look towards the outside. He wants to go there. Jensen maybe running a bit wide. No, he's stuck in the camber. Jensen driving absolutely incredibly with the defensive move here, and he's going to poke the nose and he's going to show himself in the mirrors. Jensen very much knows he's there. I think Jensen going to try and hold the inside, see if he can get a run around the outside Marshall here at the hairpin. And, once again, going to be stuck behind the other Janetta.
Yeah, Jensen just defending like his life depends on it, placing the car, like you said, in the right spots, and seemingly neglecting that damage he's got. So he's just pulled a little bit of gap out on Lucas Marshall here as they head down the back straight into his slop chicane. There is a blue flag car in front of them. It is the KTM. Oh, as Marshall outbrakes himself. Hopefully that KTM stays out the way. Yes, he does. That could have been pretty bad. Marshall, I think Jensen might have braked a little bit earlier, seeing that KTM kind of on the road.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's going to give Marshall the run here. He's going to poke his nose up. Oh, he can't quite get it past, because obviously that is the outside. And is forced to just sit behind Jensen and wait for a better opportunity.
He's not going to have many more opportunities left as we come across the line. It's going to be the final lap. I did see Johnson, the gap's extended back out to 11 seconds. So unless Keys maybe makes an error with the damage, I don't know if Johnson's going to be able to get it unless he has a mega final lap. So we see Jensen holding the inside into Old Hall corner. Marshall looking towards the outside. Gets so much better apex speed, but doesn't really have anywhere to go, as we see doesn't get an overlap. He's going to try to, if he's going to go anywhere, it's going to be around the outside of turn 3, not going to hold it through there. Jensen definitely struggling with the front end of that car, is not carrying any apex speed. Marshall's going to show the nose, but I don't know if as Jensen pushes him right towards the inside, side by side into Island, and there's contact!
Oh no!
And there's contact!
Hold it! Oh my gosh,
Ooh,
Jensen has
wow.
held the slide there. Incredible driving there. That was not what I was expecting. Well done on the wheel work for Jensen. It is a little bit hard to see what's going on with some of the lag that's going on. Some of the cars are teleporting around a bit, but yeah, Marshall just went for the move and it didn't pay off. I'm sure if there is a complaint about that, it will go to the stewards and they will deal with that accordingly. As I've just noticed on the final lap, I think Jamie Comboy has got a DT, so it's not quite a pit lane penalty, but it is a drive-through nonetheless for Comboy. So I guess you can cross off that bingo card if you have it. As we're going to go on board with Marshall right on the back of this McLaren now. I don't think there's many opportunities for Marshall against the McLaren left on this lap, so he's going to have to pull something out of the bag here to get past, as Lucas Keys comes across the line to win with that 10-second penalty. Patrick Johnson not able to close that 10-second gap, as the McLaren of Foster is now going defensive into the final corner, although I don't think he really has to, as the Ginetto just doesn't quite have the legs to get past, and it's going to be Johnson second across the line, Zach Jensen for a very well-deserved third place, followed by Spenceley, Foster, Marshall, Oliver, although Foster will be dropped down quite a few positions due to his penalty, as Graham Hill crosses the line in what would be 7th, I assume. As there's still some more battles going on a bit further down the grid with Foster. Ooh, giving Callum Gibbons a little love tap. That might open the door for the Porsche, maybe not. That Kamara's just gotten a good drive out of the corner, as the last few cars now cross the line to finish the race.
Yeah, that was, as we see, JC is now backwards at Druids. That is, again, not where you want to be, just reversing out of the way there. Just bumping the barrier for good luck. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that battle there with McLaughlin and, with Marshall and Jensen. When I saw him get squeezed all the way to the inside there before Island Bend, I kind of figured if he wasn't going to back out of that, it might have ended in sadness, and unfortunately there was contact made there, as we saw. Well done by Jensen to hold that. Whether or not we'll see a penalty for that, I think we probably will, maybe post-race. Unfortunately, the race control bot looked like it maybe not playing ball tonight, not getting notified, but I do see a lot of red on the timing tower here, so no different to last week. But I have to say, what a race with these GT4 cars and the reverse grid format providing yet again a lot more chaos and more content for OOR, and hopefully a good stream for you guys.
Yeah, they certainly did not disappoint. I'm sure everyone watching will be wide awake and ready for split red at Red Bull Ring in the GT3s. But in regards to that race, yeah, pretty good. Lots of penalties, as we saw. But if I had to pick someone who I would say did the best, I think I'm going to have to go with Zach Jensen for, although they had that small incident, him and Lucas, he still held his position for P3. Obviously, results pending with penalties. I'm not completely sure. Don't quote me on this, but yeah, holding P3 and an incredible save on the final lap as well to keep the car going and get across the line on the podium. So well done to Zach.
Yeah, definitely a good shout, and I think I'd have to say the same as we'll have a look here in a moment at the final standings for that race with the penalties applied. But yeah, I think Zach Jensen did an amazing job and great defensive as well. So we have a look here. We see Lucas Keys taking the win by 1.6 seconds. Unfortunately, Johnson not able to catch up, followed by Jensen, Spenceley, Marshall, Oliver, Graham Hill, one of the J Fosters, Stevie Ty, and Gibbons rounding out the top 10 overall. As we move on to silver classes, that's a win for Jensen in silver, followed by Oliver and Timmy Gove there, rounding out your silver podium. Pro-Am, as Spenceley takes the victory in Pro-Am, followed by Tanner and Kranich. And the AM class there is going to be Foster, followed by Bachtold, Maradin, and Scarney taking up the rear end AM class. Yeah, wow. I think I'd have to agree, to be honest. Jensen did an absolutely amazing job defending from the cars behind. Unfortunately, just getting a little bit unlucky with a bit of contact there that was made between Jensen and Marshall, with being held really tight to the inside. So we'll see if the stewards have anything to say about that after the race. We'll keep an eye out for some post-race penalties, perhaps. But overall, yeah, maybe not the cleanest race, but definitely an entertaining one to watch.
Yeah, as we head on over in a few minutes to Split Red, which will be Red Bull Ring. 2 sprint races I will be racing as well, so you'll catch me racing in that one. We have seen the Red Bull Ring race has been pretty eventful over last night. The 2 splits we had yellow and green, so stick around for that, and yeah, you'll catch me in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Stay tuned for the 2 races coming up. Yeah, Red Bull Ring always delivers with its racing. I think a couple of long straights and some tight corners to make some moves. So I wish you good luck with that one. But yeah, as it is, I've been Liam Hamilton. Thanks for joining me, Aiden, and we'll be back very soon for Split Red.
No worries.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round 9 of the OOR Simrigs Sprint Series here at the Red Bull Ring in the always sunny Spielberg in Austria. With a bit of the little gap that we had between the GT4 racing and the GT3 racing tonight, while we picked up all the pit crews, the cars, the mechanics, the engineers, and the team bosses and flew them halfway around the world, we thought we'd do you a bit of a pre-show. We're going to cover some season standings, maybe a bit of track trivia. We'll have a look at some of the action that's going on track, see who's on the pace, who's not. Because as you're aware, we've got a super exciting super sprint round coming up. So we have two 30-minute sprint races, with this second race being a reverse grid at top 10. I am joined in the commentary box by the man, the myth, the legend, Damiano Turcolini, and the great and powerful Benny Hignett on the cameras. How are we tonight, gentlemen?
I'm good, Sam. Good to be here. It's sunny for a change in, what's this place called? Austria Spielberg? Spielberg, that's the one, is extracted from me. It's very sunny. As you see the back of the bull in the background. Very nice. Good artistic work. I like it. Interesting. We're at season 21, round 9, second last round with 3 races to go. And as you're saying, 2 quick ones.
Yeah, and look, if the previous 2 splits from last night are anything to go from, we are going to see some absolute fireworks tonight. I don't know if yourself or any of our viewers caught any of the racing from last night, but oh my word, were the stewards busy.
Yeah, I was part of that, so not a good one for me. I'll just brush it under the rug and pretend it never happened.
We'll just move on. So in this sort of 10 minutes that we've got here, Damo, I thought we'd have a look at some championship standings. So how are we going? We've only got. This is our second last round. Tensions are going to get high for the drivers now.
It is. It's still all to play for. The top 2 are really close together. So we've got Shady Samuel and Bruno Ellis. Shady in car number 5 driving a Ford, and Bruno Ellis car number 17 in the Porsche. They're only separated by 22 points. So really tight. So the 946 versus 924. And quite some way behind in P3. We have Patrick Johnson in car number 50 in the Bentley on 666 points. And Stefano Ricciuti in P4, 639 points, so still within touching distance. Ricciuti driving the Ferrari, and his car number is 164. So that's the main pros. If we want to stretch that out a little bit further, we got Rob Maddox in the 765 McLaren, and only 595 points away. So P1, P2 to be decided, and 3, 4, and 5 very close as well.
Definitely sounds like we've got a tight battle there at the top between Shady and Breno there. And obviously last week in our last race out, we saw that Breno took the overall win. And Shady and his pony just didn't have the pace required to be able to clinch that one. So it's going to be all eyes on these 2 races tonight. Obviously we do the points a little bit different than we do for a standard 60-minute sprint race. So the drivers are going to have 2 opportunities to bank some points tonight, and 2 opportunities for some mishaps and mayhem as well. How are the rest of the classes looking, Damo?
In silver, overall P8, Gabriel Slavaggio in car number 11 in the McLaren, 470 points. And his main challenger in P10 overall, Remez Samuel, car number 223 in Mercedes on 400 points. A little bit far away, 70 points, but can certainly, if one of those guys has a bad race, then they can certainly mix it up for him. And Tim Yagob, outright P11, car number 72 in the Ford on 400 points as well as Remez Samuel, all to play for. And if we're going to stretch it out again, down to P4, we have Zach Warren, car number 222 in the Porsche on 398 points. So really tight for 2, 3, and 4. Probably a little bit too far away for P1 in the Silver Championship, but P2, 3, 4 are super tight, only 2 points between them.
Well, and it's going to be a busy night for Zach Jensen. He was in that GT4 race and drove to a stunning P3. Outside of any post-race invoices that may or may not be coming his way. So we'll see how that driver fatigue is going. It was only a quick race for the GT4s, being half an hour, but it was at Oulton Park, which is a challenging track. You don't often get time to breathe or relax. So he's
very bumpy.
Very bumpy, and I think car acclimatization for those drivers that were driving in the GT4 race to jump into the GT3, it's going to be interesting to watch and see how they handle jumping from one piece of machinery to the other.
Oh, definitely. And another point as well, Zach Warren on a hot streak. He finished 4th overall last week, so top drive in an equally challenging circuit. We'll slide over to Pro-Ams. Outright P9. Pete Chalmers, car number 78 in the Porsche on 410 points. Then we slide down a little bit to P13 for Ben Curtis, car 83 in the Ford on 330 points. So that one's getting pretty close to being decided, I think. And in P3 we have Scott Rochford, car number 332 in the Porsche on 330 points. Again, another driver in the championship hunt for P2, P3. Same points. And again, we'll stretch it out again. We have Mike Crick, car 87 in the Nissan. Looks like the only one we got tonight. No, we've got a few Nissans tonight. He's on 313 points. So not too far away from getting a P2 or P3 in the Pro-Am Championship.
There you go. And all of those drivers have driven a fantastic season. We've got a last couple of dying minutes of practice here. Run us through the AM Championship, and then we'll cross into qualifying.
Okay. Outright P24, Brad Gosling, car number 833. It's a very similar sounding number to what I know. AM class in the BMW on 179 points. Bruce Miller, outright P29, car number 62 in a Porsche. Just reading, it's very fine print. 105 points, so he's made the triple figures. Well done. Oh, I have to scroll down the list a little bit. Excuse me. And P3 outright, P3 AM is Liam Bird, outright P32, car number 26, also in a Porsche on 74 points. So if one of those AM guys has a mega race, that can really swing things around. But your mate, your driver, Brad Gosling, is looking pretty hot.
We'll see. From what I can see, he's not on the timing tree tonight, so it might be an opportunity for Brad Miller to get a bit of a leg up there. If Brad's got other commitments, it's meaning that he unfortunately can't join us tonight. But we'll keep a keen eye on those battles as they play out through the race. With practice session now flowing to a close, we'll file into qualifying at the Red Bull Ring. This is a mesmerising racetrack. It's high speed. It's got some huge elevation change. It's got some heavy braking zones that invite some sometimes misadvised moves under brakes. It is 4.3 kilometres long with 10 corners, 7 to the right and 3 to the left. That elevation change I was talking about is 65 metres with a big elevation change, and with a steep climb between turn 1 and turn 3. So I'm expecting to see fireworks at turn 1 and turn 3 on the opening laps of both races tonight. And I think we may see some drivers just struggling to find a rhythm. This track with its heavy braking zones and then its long straights is very much an on-off track. And so it can be hard to settle into a rhythm. It doesn't quite flow like some of our British tracks too. So we'll keep a keen eye on that tonight, and we may find some drivers out of position. Race 2 is going to be fantastic. Top 10 racing out of position in the reverse grid order that we've got tonight. So expect to see some of those top drivers doing their best and sometimes losing their cool, trying to slide through those mid-pack battles, which we know can be chaotic at the best of times, Damo.
Yeah, especially in race 1, if something unfortunate happens and puts some of the faster guys out of position, that'll allow some of the slower guys to slip into the top 9, top 10 positions. And qualifying is underway.
And here we go. So we've got a rush in the pit lane for everyone to be able to get out and find a bit of clean air. Even though it's quite a long track and we've got 12 minutes of qualifying, somehow we always find out that all 24 cars on the track generally will be occupying the same bit of racetrack and jockeying for position as they fly around. Favourites for pole tonight, Damo?
I'm going to go with Ellis. I reckon the Porsche is good. Yeah, being a Porsche driver.
I'd say, were you going to say anything else?
The Nissans from the earlier splits were super hot. They also have very good drivers, but the Nissans seem to be extremely powerful car here. So it'll be Mike Crick will be one to watch for a surprise grid position.
That is a great point. The GTR with its acceleration, not necessarily the top speed, but you haven't got super long straights here. But it gave exits. Exits are where they'll make and break your lap and your race around here. So we'll keep a keen eye on the GTR. Somehow I don't think we've got any Bentleys in the field. We do.
Yes, we do. We have currently P12, Pete Johnson in the Bentley, car number 50.
Yeah, we do. So, keep a keen eye on him. Obviously, the Porsche's acceleration is pretty legendary as well. So lots to watch. Looks like Mr. Taufik is the lone Ferrari driver around here tonight, and I take my hat off to him. The Ferrari does not love this circuit. It's been well documented that it has rather poor exit acceleration. It does have a top speed, so in a stop-start track like this, where it can't make use of its mid-engine layout and its high apex speed, it could be a race that he's going to struggle at tonight. But we'll wait and see, as most of the drivers have completed their outlap and are now on their first flying lap for the qualifying session. Damo?
Yeah, one thing I will say I think the biggest advantage the Porsche has is the middle sector. It's absolutely where I had my advantage last night, and where I've seen some of the other qualifications as well. So the Porsche is very hot in the middle sector. So we'll see how this pans out for you.
The tricky bit there, I think, as most people who have driven here will know, is that trying to get a move done in Sector 2 is impossible. So for those cars that are slightly better balanced and have better aero and are quick through Sector 2, it doesn't always pay them any dividends, as they'll get stuck behind the car in front and then gapped once they get onto one of the heavy acceleration zones in one of the long straights that we've got here.
Yeah, I just want to point out there's Bruno Ellis in the lead Porsche drivers crossing the line for his first timed lap of completing. There we go. Oh, Jingle Lee, fast lap, 28.44.2. Oh, they're all coming in now. All the times are coming in. It's 27.9 for Aidan Squires in the Ford. Sorry, go.
I'd say it was a 27.6 there for Breno, but he must have been validated because it didn't pop up on our screens. But that's a hot first flying lap from Breno. He
super fast, yeah.
He's not come to muck around tonight. He obviously understands what's at stake between him and Shady.
Yeah. What I was going to point out while we had the full timing tree was I counted 9 Porsches out of 23 of the top 23 cars. A heavy Porsche field.
Seems to be a very heavy Porsche field tonight, which no doubt is making you happy, as I know you are a Porsche aficionado yourself.
Oh, I'd like to try, but look at P6. We have Mike Crick leading the 2 Porsches of Chalmers and Viney on their first laps, with still some very good laps hanging around the 29.0 mark, which is a good first lap. As you see, long lead, 0.25 up, slowly dipping the time, going through a very technical and very precise and a little slide there. Just hold on, don't invalidate. No, invalidate here, you will lose your next lap as well. So very wise to keep it going. Savaka in the next Nissan, half a second, increasing time. Oh, invalidate the lap. Okay, hopefully not too fast. Maybe a little left to that last corner, so the next lap doesn't become invalid. And it looks like it could be, and bailed. Here we go, Timmy Go. Next driver around to keep it on the track, 0.35 up. Going to move him up a few spots.
And I wonder if, even though we've got 2 short races tonight, Damo, I wonder if drive-through penalties are something that we might see play out. We saw a few in a couple of the earlier splits this week, but as you know, the track limits here are very, very punishing. There's, especially in Sector 3, those final 2 corners, you want to be pushing as hard as you can and using as much of the racetrack as is available. And it's very, very easy to invalidate there. And as you said, if you're in qualifying, cost yourself a lap or maybe two. But in the race, get 3 of those and you'll be visiting the pit lane.
And with such a short race, can't get it back. But we'll focus on quali. And Ellis is screaming. He's 2 seconds up on his time, which he doesn't have one at the moment. So I saw him 2 seconds up, thought, what's going on? There we go. He's coming through the last turn. Coming through, got a car in front, cannot pass as we're in qualifying, getting faster, and we get a time of 1:27.9. Pretty quick time. I think there's more to come.
He'll be pretty happy with that, but judging off his first flying lap, he's got at least 3/10 extra in that car tonight. So we'll see as Shady Samuel takes it to provisional pole with a 27.6 from him. So the battle is on between Breno and Shady.
Oh, absolutely. And they have really decent times as well for this temperature. I noticed it before. It's 25 degrees and 33, I think, track temperature. And I found that about once it starts getting to the low 30s in the track temperature, the track gets very slippery. So excellent car control by those drivers.
We've been watching those two all season, Damo, and they've been duking it out. The skill in both of those drivers has been very, very evident. So we'll see as both of those drivers took to the pits for a new set of boots, a splash of fuel, and they'll be jumping out to do an outlap and then probably 2 flying laps before the end of the qualifying session. As we jump back on board with Breno, we can see that he is currently on his outlap here with that red time up in the top left, and we cut back to Taufik in the 711 Ferrari. Not a huge gain on his previous lap, but sitting pretty at the moment in 4th, and no doubt with some time to find as he comes into Sector 2. Hard on the brakes, dips the car to the right. Early apex on this one to then use as much of the exit curve as you can before firing the car over to the right-hand side. On the brakes, dip it to the left. On the power, as you touch the curb, use as much of the track as you can on the right-hand side. And, ooh, he didn't just invalidate, he has visited the kitty litter. So if that is a commentator's curse, my apologies, Mr. Taufik.
And he even had a Porsche in his engine bay as he cut through. Oh, dear. Ellis 0.2 behind. This will be a fast lap for Ellis. There's a Kunos feature that doesn't recognise the second lap. He's getting a bit close. I think that's Viney or Chalmers in front of him. So there's no overtaking unless on the car in front, unless it's invalidated or purposely lets you through. So if he catches up, you're going to need to back off.
Yeah, one of the qualifying rules that we've got here at OOR to allow everyone a fair and reasonable chance in the qualifying session. We can't have our faster drivers bullying some of our not so fast drivers. So we have put that rule in place, so there is to be 0 overtaking in qualifying. As we said, we've got heaps of time and there's plenty of track. So if you're, he's lost. Breno's lost a lot of time there, though. Yeah, I believe he stayed valid, but he did lose a lot of time. As we cut over to Buscovas, who's a 10.5 up on his time, that will jump him a spot up into P6, and we're now looking at the aforementioned Zach Warren in the 222 Porsche, who is starting his lap. Hasn't found a lot of time onto turn 1 as he goes through turn 3 and throws it into the tight and uphill turn 3. Traction is king on exit at this corner, and found a little bit, but not a whole lot. But if you have a look down that timing tree, there's sort of 2/10 that currently covers 5th to 8th. So we have a very, very tightly packed qualifying session tonight. And as you know, qualifying is paramount here at this track, especially in short races that we're going to have.
You have to see his squires get a little squirrely at the exit of the second turn, and Patrick Johnson never been You like that? I didn't even know I did it. That was awesome. I'll have to write that one down for later. Patrick Johnson crossing the line, no time improvement. Still got room for 2 more.
There you go. So Shady still sitting pretty. Currently looking at Pete Chalmers in the 78 Porsche, slightly up on his flying lap. Then we have followed by Taufik and then Shady. So Shady might be held up in traffic here at the end of this session. You know, a 27.6 is a stonking lap, but we did see Breno put a lap of a similar time in his first flying lap. So this might be playing into Breno's hands here, Damo.
I think so. He's caught up with Torfig, who's 0.4 behind on a solid quali lap, but we don't know how it's going now. So there's not a lot of room to play with. And coming into this section here, a little bit of error wash will probably impact Shady Samuel here. So we'll see a very wide turn in, slight clip at the curb, don't go too wide. Yep, that's certainly valid. There's an interesting bump just on the entry to that corner. Excellent exit. Going to get a little bit of slipstream. Time improves, time drops, plus 0.2. We'll take that. 27.4. Hot lap.
Very, very hot lap. Has Breno got anything to answer? Not in that last lap. His last flying lap was a 27.69. So there's that 27.6 that we saw earlier in the session. But he's still just over 2/10 off the back of Shady in that Mustang. And I feel like in race 1, Damo, that if Shady starts from pole, the Porsche's really going to struggle to get around that American muscle machine here at the Red Bull Ring tonight.
Well, we'll find out once we get to turn 3, the heavy braking zone up the hill on lap 1. As we see, Ramez Samuel, 0.3 up, looking for, wow, quite a few places if you can get this one hooked up. What's the second last corner, big slide. That can still work for you. No, saw the X was a bit wide and drops time. Enough time to go again?
Oh, yes, he made it.
Yes, he's through.
Made it.
All right.
That had to be by the skin on his chinny chin, but he made it across the line and he lives to fight another day.
Ellis in the pits, so that one's over. FCC, Aiden Squires, 0.25 up. Hooks this one up. That could put him into P2. 0.3 up. He's going for it. Low fuel.
Breno could be in danger here. He could be in lots of danger here from starting, Aiden may be able to knock him off and stop him from starting on the front row. He has lost quite a bit of time through Sector 2 here. We'll see as he rounds the final corner. Big dip there on the apex and he crosses the line. Not quite enough to fire him too much further up the timing chart, but he does grab P3 provisionally from Patrick Johnson, who's also up on his flying lap, and he retakes the position for P3, and he will be starting from the second row of the grid.
I think there's still a couple of cars going. No, car 24 just invalidated. I'm not sure on car 223. It's Ramil Samuel. That's the last one across the line. Is he up? Oh, he's touch and go. He lost it in the last corner, so let's see if he gets some extra time in these last 2 turns. Got a little bit here. All he needs is less than a 10th, which is what he has. Oh, look at these hooks.
Big time gain. Oh, and he went.
Oh, worth a go.
He'll be kicking
Absolutely
himself.
worth a go.
He will be kicking himself. So let's see. That was quite a hot qualifying session, and I think for the probably the first time this season, we've got a group of pros at the top. From P7 down, it gets a bit higgledy-piggledy between our silvers and our pro-ams. But your starting order is Shady Samuel from Breno Ellis, from Patrick Johnson, from Aiden Squires. Make up your top 4. Looks like Mr. Taufik was able to put his car into P5, and I cannot tell P6 by the livery in the car, unfortunately. It's Mr. Buscovas, then Long Lee. Zach Warren P8 overall and P1 for Silver. Mr. Crick, horrible qualifying session. You can definitely do better in the 87 Nissan GTR. Currently sitting on pole for Pro-Am. Ramez Samuel P2 for Silver. Benny Curtis P2 for Pro-Am. Timmy Go P3 for Silver. Pete Chalmers P3 for Pro-Am. Then we've got Rochford, Zavaka, Weeheim, Viney, Brickley, Anderson, Miller, Braid, Ning Chan, and Zach Jensen starting from P23. I somehow think this is a strategic play from the 95 Audi. I noticed that he really didn't go out and qualify in the first half of that qualifying session. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a particular Audi doing donuts in the pit lane for a little while. So I wonder if he's playing a strategy play here. Start from the back, let the chaos unfold, and then pick up the pieces as he drives through the broken cars left on either side of the racetrack, Damo?
Probably an opportunity to do that in the second race, maybe not the first one. That's just my personal opinion there.
Well, there
because,
you go.
The verse 10, that'll be where it's really spicy in race 2.
Hey, who knows? Maybe he's planning to do it in both races. Let's see. But I mean, look, we know the pace of Zach Jensen, and last on the grid is definitely not where that car and that driver belongs. So, fingers and toes crossed that it works out for him. 30 seconds before the session starts, the drivers will be fine-tuning their setups and their tyre pressures. The air temp at the track has dropped by 1 degree to 24 degrees, and the track has dropped 2. So let's see, grip is optimum, sun is shining, and weather conditions are static. So we are on for one exciting race here at the Red Bull Ring.
And with the wind being at 0, it sounds like a 0 chance of rain. So who's your pick to lead us into turn 1 once the green flag goes?
Well, look, you picked Breno, so I'm going to jump on the Samuel bandwagon. I think he's going to have a challenge keeping Breno out of the apex and out of the inside of that corner there, especially with that fast-charging Porsche. But I believe that Shady's got the expertise and the know-how to make that happen. How about yourself, Damo?
I reckon Ellis might get into turn 1. I just got a feeling about it. The drive from the Porsche in the lowdown, the short run, uphill braking, a little bit iffy on the turn in. I think the Porsche will have the handling there. If not there, hopefully you get a little bit of a run and get it at turn 3, which is where we are now.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, a signature trait of this track is that it demands excellent traction out of the slow corners and demands absolute precision under the brakes. So as we see everyone getting a little bit squirrely, a little bit all over the place, a few shenanigans going on the outlap to start the race here as the cars file into the infamous Sector 2 here. So I know we've said it before, Damo, but there are some fantastic looking liveries in split red. And after what? After the
What are these
chaos,
two doing?
mate,
They
they're
need more
just
sun. They need more sun.
They definitely do need more sun. Old mate on the right looks like he's a bit of a day walker there. But look, it's not often that it's sunny here in Spielberg, especially not with those mountains, the Styrian mountains there in the background. So maybe he's just trying to get his daily dose of vitamin D.
Ooh, can I say one thing? I'm actually quite interested in how P11 through to 15 are going to go in the start. So I'm going to be keeping a little eye on mid-pack and see how that turns out. As the cars form up doubles, and as usual, I'll leave to your excellent opening calls.
Appreciate it, mate. Thanking you. As the cars are coming down the hill, approaching the final set of 2 corners, where not currently on the main pit straight. We'll be getting there. The pit lane there tricked me there for a second. As we're watching the cars now form up over the grid boxes, drivers will be managing the gap to the car in front and waiting for those lights to go green. It's a nice form up there from Split Red as we jump on board with Buscovis looking at the back of Aidan Squires in the 96 Mustang. We are green, ladies and gentlemen. A huge start from Buscovis in the 31 McLaren there. Breno did slightly get a run, but Shady's able to hang it around the outside. He has gone off track. There are plenty of cars off track, but we have made it clean through turn 1. We now make the run up the hill to the infamous turn 3. We'll see if the Porsche, it's mighty under brakes. Is Shady going to be able to hold him off here, as he's gotten quite an overlap, and he's more than a car length ahead there, as there's a bit of contact between Johnson and Ellis into turn 3 there. Both cars on the tarmac and pointing the correct direction, so play on. That gap there to Shady is only 1.5 tenths. As we'll see, they fire down the hill and into turn 4. This has been a really respectable start to the race for Split Red. As we see the cars filing through turn 4 there. No big changes for position that I can see yet. However, I have seen that Zach Jensen has jumped up 3 spots and is currently sitting in P20. Mike Crick still sitting in P10 until the timing chart updates. Looks like he has been passed by the 78 Porsche of Pete Chalmers there. And he's now got the hard charging Rumez Samuel all over the rear wing of that car. As we're speaking of rear wings, we're looking at the rear wing of Zach Warren in the 222 Porsche, and he's got Long Lee behind him in the number 7 Mercedes. Now, Long Lee we haven't seen a whole lot of this season. He's been a little bit, well, he just hasn't raced a whole lot. But we know that he's quick. He's a really good operator, Long Lee. Often, travelling Shady and Breno at the top end of the field. Looks like there's been an incident for the one unknown Porsche there of Rob Brickley, who is tailing the field by quite some margin. But other than that, we made it through lap 1 pretty safe, Damo.
It did look at just a couple of bumps here and there, a few position changes of Warren in front of Longley. Chalmers got in front of Crick. Good start by Chalmers. He got about 3 spots, I think.
That's huge. And you know what they say, Damo, rubbing is racing. So we'll see a bit of the bump and grind through the drivers there, as we're currently sitting on the dashboard of Aidan Squires, looking at the back of the number 50 Bentley here. I'm really interested to see, because the Bentley's got excellent exit acceleration. So we'll see how these two machines fare against each other. That gap at the front now almost a second.
Wow, that's a good stretch. That's really good. Yeah, I was at the start. Ellis was looking really close to getting inside on turn 1. I was like gunning for him, and he wisely backed out because he just wasn't close enough in there. Car drivers finishing lap 2 now. Gaps after P1, P2, it's starting to stretch out. Oh, 28-0. Oh, replay inbound.
So we've got a replay of the 109 Porsche here of Rob Brickley. Very, very slow on turn 3.
Oh.
Can you explain that to me, Damo? I'm not a Porsche driver. What happened?
Porsche thinks. No, probably too low TC, cold tyres, and that part of the hairpin there is really steep, and the car gets unbalanced a little bit.
That was, I mean, look, if he was aiming for a flick turn, that was beautiful, but somehow I don't think that's what Mr. Brickley had in mind there. As we jump back in with some vision of the leaders, and Aidan is hassling the back of Patrick Johnson here.
I was seeing that as we cut over, very close under braking. I think Squires is. It'd be interesting to see how my thoughts are scattering everywhere. Qualifying pace, race pace is what I was going to say. So here's the drivers who could now qualifying, and now we get to see who can go with like half tanks of fuel.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Obviously, the cars are a little bit heavier. Track temp has come down slightly. And if we just look down that timing tree, we'll see that all of the gaps are within that sort of 6, 8, 10th range. As Ramez throws it to the outside and has a bit of a look at Mike Crick there. Cricky, a wily old campaigner, is wise to it. Throws it in the final corner. That GDR is going to get fantastic drive down the pit straight. Ramez is also going to be looking in his mirrors. He's got the Porsche of Pete Viney all over the back. Is Viney going to send it up the inside here? If so, it's a late move. He thinks better of it, though, and decides to sit.
I'm predicting turn 3 for this one. Pete Viney, because if Samuel doesn't get a good run because of Crick being in front, Viney's going to have a little chance on the brakes, but it looks like the Porsche legs have failed.
Yeah, I think if he was going to get that move done there, it had to be into turn 1. But hey, he lives to fight another day as they barrel down the hill into turn 4. Tricky off.
Go.
I was going to say it's a tricky off-camber corner. This corner can be really hard to keep the back end behind you as you file through this one.
Well, that was my hunting ground from last night. I actually got a couple of passes in there. Needed a bit of compliance from the car in front, but I found with the Porsche, very deep braking is very easily achieved through there. So it's a bit of a send-it moment as we see Ramez Samuel all over the back of Mike Crick, not giving up. This battle's going to go all race.
Yeah, I think it will. That gap currently out at 3/10. you know, Remez, I think if he's going to get it done, he's going to need to get it done under brakes, which is a big ask for the Merc. It does not like to rotate it. It does not like to stop. So we'll keep a keen eye on that one as your man, Breno Ellis, is in all sorts of trouble to that fast-charging number 50 Bentley of Patrick Johnson in that stunning fruit bowl livery that we've been talking about all season. We charge up the hill through turn 2. He's forced him to the outside. It looks like he's got a nose ahead. Breno's kept to the inside. The guys have kept it very, very clean, but that's going to make Breno vulnerable to Aiden Squires, I believe, who does not look like he got the exit he was looking for. Johnson has now cleared Breno. And as we said, you know, this track suits the Bentley very, very well. And he's making great use of that machine here. We'll see if Breno's able to mount a bit of a counter-attack through Sector 2.
I'm really surprised that the Bentley got through into Porsche in their braking zone, though. Maybe a little bit of lack of confidence on Breno Ellis, which is extremely unusual. And that something's up there. I don't think it'd be a confidence thing. But or maybe some extra super strong confidence from Patrick Johnson getting through on the Bentley.
Hey, well, look, stranger things have happened, Damo, and we're now seeing that gap widen a little. It did look like that Patrick ran outside of track limits there, and he's not the first car that I've seen do that tonight, so I believe we could be on a bit of a drive-through watch. I've seen people get drive-through warnings for track limits in 15-minute races, so it can definitely be achieved in a 30-minute race.
Pushing hard. Yes, I found a lot of people don't like turn 1 for the track limits. That's where I think, I'm going to say it, where the sync time is in turn 1. You get that a little bit wrong. As Aiden Squires having a look under the Porsche, having a look, does not go in, pulls back in, goes around the corner. Seems to have a better drive out of the corner from Ellis. I wonder, I'm going to throw it out there, has Ellis started the race on his quali tyres?
Could have. He definitely could have. I mean, that's something we're probably not really going to know until after the race. As Breno missed the apex there slightly, it does look like he's missing a bit of grip in that German machine at the moment. He managed to hit that apex there, and Zach Jensen, 5-second penalty for causing an incident on that one. I believe that was the tangle that Rob Brickley was caught up in into turn 3 up the hill there as well. So. Very, very small invoice. Yeah, that was the replay we saw. Very, very small invoice, but an invoice nonetheless.
Mike Crick still holding off Remus Samuel. Gap is not as tight as what it was before, so the attention as Curtis, I think, behind was very wide through turn 2, through the last 2 turns. Gives Viney a little look, a bit of close-up, because he had to back off to make sure he stays on the circuit. We'll see how this goes through into turn 1. And the next Porsche behind of Rochford still staying in touch, and Rochford also has Savako close behind, so these 4 will be interesting to watch coming up. And here we go. Are we going to get a big Porsche out-braking manoeuvre happening? As we've got Viney behind Curtis, only 0.3 behind in the sector change at the cross line. Has a tiny little look, but doesn't go in, and as well as Savaka does not have a look at Rochford. Heading down to turn 4, and let's see how we go here.
I was going to say, it looked like Viney got a way better exit than Curtis there, but the legs of that Mustang just looking after Benny and driving away from that Porsche a little bit. Viney is all over the back of that car though, and will be desperately looking for a way to get through so we can get on up the road and chase after Remez Samuel, as that gap between Remez and Benny Curtis is now 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to draw your eye to the circuit map. The field spread's not too big. I know it's only 10 minutes into the race, and we've had a couple of people have some moments so they're at the back, but take those last 3 cars out, I think the field spread's really tight. Everyone's very pacey tonight.
Yeah, and that's something that we've seen in all of the races this week, is we get these trains forming, these slipstream trains, and there'll be generally a cork in the bottle at the front, but as it's hard to pass, or can be hard to pass around the Red Bull Ring, and these are short races, we found that we had 4 and 5 cars fighting for the 1 position and made for some fantastic viewing. So hopefully as this race progresses, we get more of the same. as we cut back to Benny Curtis. He's now alongside the Porsche of Pete Viney, climbing up the hill. Viney does have the inside line here. It's going to be very, very hard for that Mustang to outbrake the Porsche. He's got the overlap. He's going to look for a bit of a switchback here as he has the other Porsche of Scotty Rochford all over the back. He's stuck at a bit of a Porsche sandwich here. He moves to the inside. He's going to make the dive in to turn 4 under brakes. Viney, however, closes that door very early. And those 4 cars file through in the order that they entered.
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit of the Viney-Curtis battle. I think Curtis looks a little bit more confident under braking, but not as confident as Viney. Oh, here we go. Here's a move on Ramirez on Mike Crick. Good deep move, bit of space given. Crick has an excellent drive out of the corner. Oh, yeah, he could have done better, really, couldn't he?
Very well defended there. Very well defended from Cricky. He gave Ramirez all the room to take that tight line that he'd set himself up for, knowing that he was going to get a far better exit down the hill.
Looks like, I think Rochford got a run on Curtis here for turn 1. He had a much better exit. He looks pretty close. He's going to have a go or stay behind.
So you barely get a bit of paper between these 4 cars at the moment. This is a super intense battle. With Pete Viney leading that charge. So we're currently looking at 4 cars battling for P13 at the moment. And we're on board with Scotty Rochford, who has dropped back a little bit from the 83 Mustang there of Benny Curtis. Hits the apex nicely and gets decent drive out. He has halved that gap from what we saw at the end of the straight. So we'll see how this one plays out. But these big front engine machines kind of do rule here. As we were speaking about in our pre-race show, being a stop-start circuit as opposed to a flowy sort of aero-dependent circuit, these big grunty front end machines do seem to have the advantage here tonight.
They certainly do. Maybe not so much in the middle sector, but definitely pretty much everywhere else. And another driver to watch as well is currently in P17, Murphy in the 101 Porsche. I saw his livery at the back of the grid, so moving his way forward and very close on Savaka.
Yeah, he's our biggest gainer in the race so far, currently up 7 spots. So I'm not quite sure if he missed qualifying or decided not to participate. But we know he's a very good operator. So, you know, I'm guessing his goal is going to be to make it up into that coveted P10 slot tonight.
Race is nearly half done. Always time to get there. Here we go. Patrick Johnson, 1.6 behind Samuel. So Ellis has dropped back.
But he's made a mistake there, and he has let Breno through. So hopefully we'll get a replay of that one. And so into turn 3. I wonder if he's just caught that sausage curb on the apex there. No, he's clean there, but a bit of an oversteer moment, costing the exit speed. Breno comes through, says, "Thank you, mother, for the rabbits. I'll have P2 back." And he'll now be hoping that he's got the pace to catch back up to Shady Samuel, who's got a 2-second gap in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's stretched by half a second by what we were just looking at that replay. It's a hot lap. And also a little bit of overtaking maneuvers there. Oh, here we go. Mike Crick from this, Samuel behind. Pretty good line by Mike there.
This has been a great battle between these two. Very intense battle.
Yeah. And the pressure's on as well with Ramirez because you've got Viney and Curtis breathing down his neck as well. It's only 2.5 seconds away, and those guys, if they stop battling, they're going to catch up really, really fast. And it's also Crick's not too far away from Chalmers. Did drop a little bit of time there, probably from a defensive move. Here we've got Rochford looking at Curtis. Has a little look, showing that he's there, stays in the line, needs to get an excellent drive out the corner. Doesn't look like it. It's very well inside track limits as well as everyone else behind, and I don't think he's going to get the run for turn 3. As we go through, here it is, turn 2, right there. You see it? There it is.
I can't believe they call that a corner. I tell you what, we're not seeing tonight is the fabled Porsche performance under brakes. We've seen plenty of moments already in the first half of this race where there's been a Porsche tucked up behind another car on entry to a corner. And none of them have either had the the confidence, or I'm not sure what it is that's lacking. But we haven't seen any of them move to the inside and look for a move.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's I'd say you've got to get a little bit more closer of a run in to gain those extra 2 car lengths under braking, and if you're a little bit more than say 3 or 4, which is like 3/10, 4/10 behind, you'll get close under braking, but you can't overdo it because you'll be inside at the end of the braking zone. So you've got to brake a little bit earlier to make sure you don't have contact. Quiet drive today for Torfik, and Buskovas is also having a quiet one, and Warren as well. Still has long lead behind him by 0.8 of a second, but been pretty quiet. Haven't seen any moves there. We've still got Squires having a good look at Johnson in front, and they're all staying very close to Ellis. And as Shady Samuels has stretched out lead out to 2.3 seconds.
Tell you what, Damo, but quiet is not what we want to see. Quiet is not what our viewers want to see. We want to see punch-ups. We want to see fireworks. And so far, it's been a very, very well-behaved race for Split Red.
I tell you what. Okay, you wait. If Pete Chalmers can hold off P10, he is the biggest and best defender. He's going to bank them all up, and then we'll see some action. This is just the precursor, the preamble, the appetizer, the preface, the front cover for the next race.
There you go. And I don't know if everyone caught it, but as of last night, we've started commentator bingo. So if you have a look in the chat section, in however and wherever you're getting your YouTube feed, you'll see a link up the top to the bingo card. So it's a bit of fun. Us commentators put our heads together and found the most cringy and cliche things that we sometimes say on repeat when we're commentating these races. So jump in, have a bit of fun. I've been assured by Matt and Glenn that there will be a prize for anyone that can completely fill out their bingo card. I'm not free to tell you what that may or may not be, and it may not be a prize that you want. But look, get involved. It's a bit of fun, and just keeps the racing that much more entertaining.
Going to cut you off. Squires is having a look.
Yeah, had a look for a move there, trying to fill Johnson's mirrors and put him under a little bit of pressure there. But as we've seen this season, Johnson is very cool, calm and collected behind the steering wheel. So I think he's going to have to try a little bit harder if he wants to scare Patrick off an apex.
Check out P11, White Creek, right? He was falling behind Chalmers, and Ramez Samuel was all over the back of him. Look what's happened. He's stretched out from Ramez and it's closing on Chalmers. P10 is not decided.
We've still got a third of this race to go. Biggest losers and winners so far for this race. We have fast charging Chris Murphy currently in P16, but he is up 8 spots. Pete Viney in P13 up 4 spots, and Zach Jensen in P20 up 3 spots. But he does.
Oh, there was a car off. Yeah,
we do.
White car. That's all I got. I just saw a white car.
That's Longley. Longley in the Mercedes. Just pray for a safe rejoin here. He's driven far enough along down the pit straight there to let these cars pass and hasn't made any silly defensive manoeuvres.
Oh wow! How'd you get it? Did he clip the sausage on the inside there and just like completely through it? Must have.
It's definitely not hard to do. That sausage has ruined a couple of my races here at the Red Bull Ring. As Benny Curtis threw it up the inside there. He threw it up the inside of Pete Viney, I believe.
Yeah, Viney.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We'll get to find out the braking confidence. Here we go. 3 Porsches and a Ford. Oh, a bit of bumping.
What? Viney's gone off there. Chris Murphy all over the back of Curtis here as he's just slicing his way through this field. And it looks like he's thrown it up the inside. Very clean racing from
Murphy's got it. Because he got the inside for the next one. Yep. All right. I think what happened Rochford tapped Curtis, who tapped Viney. That's what I think. On first viewing, that's all I got. Because I saw Rochford really dive off to the left as we have Curtis going to the last corner. I think Murphy's got this one covered. Well, Rochford, whoa, here we go. Curtis had a bit of a slidey moment after the exit. Rochford's having a look in turn one. It's going to have to be deep and very precise under braking. Bails out of it and pulls in. Has a go and have another go, I hope, at turn 3.
And there we go. Just looking at, we'll watch this replay here. So this is the Longley incident into the final curb there.
Oh, big slide.
Oh, big tank slapper. Massive tank slapper. Big oversteer moment on entry, which is then turned into understeer and oversteer the other way. So it's a bit of an unfortunate incident there for Longley.
Was that the infamous...
looking at Chris Murphy. Looking at Chris Murphy here, and he is currently 12 spots up. He's only got 2 spots left to grab that P10.
Oh, here we go.
Put him P1 for next race. So we'll watch on board for this little battle we had here. So we've got Viney in front. And you are spot on there, Damo, with that call. Rochford tapped the back of Curtis, who tapped the back of Viney, which unfortunately punted Viney off the track, but ruined Curtis's exit, which allowed Chris Murphy then to slice his way through all 3 of those cars there.
As we see Mike Crick again, under pressure from Samuel, maybe having a little bit of a rest of the driving, bring the tyres back into temperature zone, and I have another attack on Mike Crick, who is also closed in on Chalmers. And Mike's in P10, yes, because of Longley. So we could have Mike Crick on pole for race 2. Now it's all the race for Ramez Samuel and also Murphy. 4 seconds in 5 laps. Challenging.
Look, it's look, I don't know. I mean, Chris Murphy is he is not a slouch. He's definitely not a slouch. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a gap that he's able to make up. So we'll wait. We'll wait and see.
Do you have the times of the drivers at the moment in front of you?
Yes, I do.
What was Murphy's last lap compared to, say, Ramez?
So Murphy's last lap was a 29 dead, and a 29.7 for Ramez. So he made up 7 tenths on him on 1 lap. So I definitely say we could be on here for a Chris Murphy reverse pole for race 2.
Oh, he's got to be on it. And Ramez has also got Crick in front. If they start battling, like half a second now just in the last sector. Oh, Murphy's going to be... Oh, he's got to get 2 spots though. Oh, DT, you called it. Patrick Johnson, drive through. Oh.
And straight into the pits. Oh, that's not a track limits DT. That'll be... because he's in the pits. Surely that's got to be a speeding in the pit lane penalty there.
No, that doesn't happen until you exit the pits, right? You won't know until you got the speeding. Right. What's he in the pit for?
I've got no idea. But he's parked it in the pits too. He's not serving a drive-through. So he's obviously decided he's had to have gotten that drive-through somewhere through Sector 2, and then it's just decided. And we've got another DT for Pete Viney popping up. So those track limits are biting and causing these guys to just tumble.
P8, 9, 10, 11, all closing. Crick's all over the back of Chalmers as he cooked his tyres. Oh, it's all kicking off now. Here you go. Here's your action that you're looking for, Sam.
This race has been a bit of a slow burn, but the last 10 minutes have definitely delivered. So we've got Pete Chalmers from 3 tenths from Mike Crick, who was 5 tenths from Ramez Samuel, my apologies, who was then 4.2 seconds from Chris Murphy. As we wait for that time, wow, that gap was 4.2 seconds. It's now 3.6, ladies and gentlemen. So he made up 6 tenths in between those 2 timing lines. He's got 4 and a bit minutes to go, so we've probably got 5 laps. It's a tall mountain to climb, but if anyone can climb it, it is Chris Murphy piloting the 101 Porsche there.
I'm wondering for Mr. Johnson, he got a track limit that we didn't see, as we were brilliantly commentating, if I do say so myself, and he's parked up because he didn't want to do a drive-through because it would have pushed him back. Here we go. Here's the replay.
So that's out of track limits there.
Was it one there?
It looked like it, yeah. The tyre was outside the line. As Ramez has a bit of a sniff up the inside of Crick. Not able to scare him off the apex there. Probably a day late, $1 short if Ramez was going to make that move there. And that gap has now widened. That cost him dearly, that corner.
And they've caught up to Gobi. They're only 0.7 behind Gobi, 0.7 for Crick, 0.2 for Ramez, and I'm expecting at the end of this sector, Chris Murphy will be within 3 seconds. Holy dooly. And it's kicking off as well, because in P5, P6, we have 1 second between Warren and Buscovas.
Laps of this race are going to be absolute fire as we stay with Mike Crick in our vision, who's got the fast charging Ramez Samuel not far off, and we're doing everything he can to look for a way through. Mind you, if he's a tactician, and I'm almost certain that Ramez is, I'd be holding station where I am. You know, we've got just under 3 seconds to Murphy behind. But, I mean, you're currently sitting in pole position for race 2. Yep. So, if I was him, I would not be doing anything to get past Cricky here.
I think so, because one part, if you can stay that close behind the car in front of you, you got a little bit more extra pace because it's easier to maintain that gap. So I think he's a little bit faster than Mike at the moment in this part of the race and most of the race. Excellent strategy call there, Sam.
Yeah, so I mean, well, look, we'll see. We've probably got 3 laps left, 2 or 3 laps under our belt here. Chris Murphy's last lap was a 29.3, playing a 29.8 of Ramez. So that's half a second on that lap that he gained. Mike Crick a little bit further up the road. His last lap was a 29.6, and then Chalmers a 29.4. Gobi must have had a little bit of an incident in that last lap because his time was a 29.9, which is a little bit high there. So that probably explains the closing of that gap that we saw there. As Damo pointed out, a little bit of a wide moment from the GDR of Mr. Crick there. And we're now looking at Viney all over the back of the Ford Mustang, and according to Gobby, that is the 2-litre EcoBoost version.
Really?
Not the Coyote V8 version. So he's probably at a bit of a disadvantage tonight. Poor old Gobby.
Oh dear! Did he bring his pedals as well, so he can actually pedal inside his bike pedals?
His Flintstone. It could be a Flintstone car.
That's it. Did you bring his sandals? Oh dear. So we're looking at, Warren's still behind Buscovas by about a second. That hasn't moved too much. Chalmers steady as we go behind Gobi. I think Gobi's got him, like you said. It's like, yeah, he definitely had a moment because we can see that in the times. But Chalmers, Crick, Samuel, that's pretty tight. Chalmers pulled away a little bit, and also Murphy's also backed up a little bit as well. Not backed up, closing in. 1.7 seconds now. 44 seconds to go in the race. The leader's going to cross the line soon, so we're going to have for these guys 2 more laps or 1.5 laps, and the leader will be on the final lap very shortly.
There you go. So we've got, looking at my ACC Drive spotting chart here, I've got a lot of green arrows. Aiden Squires up 1 spot, Taufik up 1, Buscovas up 1, Zach Warren up 2, Timmy Gobe up 5, Pete Chalmers up 5. Cricky nil, he is currently sitting where he started. Ramez Samuel nil, sitting where he started. And Chris Murphy up 13. That's been one hell of a drive from Murphy. And
the outbreaking manoeuvre of Rochford is plus 15 seconds for him. That's going to put him that's going to be like 21st spot. 21st, I think.
You are the guy with the quick maths there, Damo, so I won't even attempt to fact check you there. But 15 seconds when you've got the field spread that we've got at the moment is a huge penalty. That is going to cost him dearly.
Oh, absolutely. And also we had Viney take his drive through as well for track limit. That's why he's down in P21. And we had Long Lee, 0.13 behind Anderson doing a recovery. 0.3 now, so obviously super fast, but can't get through. So he'll need to qualify again. As well as
definitely.
Murphy, by looks of it. So we're on the last lap. Leader is in the last 2 corners as we speak. Not too far behind is Ellis. So Leader going through the last corner now, and we're watching these guys, and we'll see if our Chalmers makes a move on go. And here we go. Shady Samuel, Bruno Ellis, P1, P2. Aiden Squires not far behind in P3.
Oh, and we've got a move here. Well, we had the fake of a move of Chalmers on Gobby. Only 2.5 tenths back, so well within striking range here, but I don't think he's going to get it done in and out of the final corner, and definitely not on the pitch straight against that Mustang. So, Jesus Buscovas and Warren have crossed the line for P5 and 6. We then get Benny Curtis across the line. That's Igor Zavaka going across the line in his GDR as we watch these drivers file through. That's Bruce Miller in the BAM Racing Porsche with the 109 Porsche of Rob Brickley all over the back. Not a bad recovery drive there from Brickley after the incident at turn 1. Pete Viney will be the next car to cross the line as he rounds the final corner now. And we're getting a bit of a
Slide.
Yeah, a bit of a celebratory happy slide there from Breno.
Yeah. And race 1, guys. Race 1. Save your tyres. You got to go out again.
So interesting race. Not as fiery, I don't think, as we were expecting. Huge drive from Zach Jensen there, up 5 spots from P23 to P18.
That's a good.
But our biggest gainer there was definitely Chris Murphy, who, as you pointed out earlier, is going to have to qualify again, but we know that he is lightning. So
Willie. Here we go. Race 2. Willie do it again. Biggest losers, Patrick Johnson, Long Lee, and Pete Viney. Where did we see Rochford finish?
And there we go. I'm not 100% sure, but I've just spied.
Sorry.
I've just spied a comment there from Patrick Johnson in the YouTube chat saying that his brake pedal is killing itself. So a bit of a hardware issue there for Johnson in the Bentley, which we always hate to see. It's never nice when your hardware lets you down, especially when you're driving such a fantastic race as Patrick was. So hopefully it doesn't hamper him too much into race 2. But that does explain why he jumped into the pits and parked it instead of serving his drive-through and continuing on.
Yep. Yeah. That brake pedal doesn't help.
No, you definitely need that one alive and working, especially here in Spielberg.
There's a comment by Lightning Oz. I don't know some of these people's avatars and alternate names, but definitely didn't almost crash on the first corner, so good.
That's Lightning Oz is Aiden Squires.
Okay. I'll see if I can remember that for next time.
Oh, mate, there's lots to remember, lots to keep up with. As we look at the overall standings from race 1, so we have Samuel from Ellis, from Squires, from Taufik, Buscovas, Warren, Gobe, Chalmers, Crick, and Samuel rounding out your top 10. So those top 10 drivers will not be required to compete in this qualifying session. As we look to silver, so we had Warren from Gobe, from Samuel, from Weehan, and then Jensen. To Pro-Am, we had Chalmers, from Crick, from Curtis, Zavaka, Anderson, Rochford, Brickley, Viney, and Ning Chan. And we jump over to the hotly contested amateur class, and we had Brad Miller from Liam Braid there. As we cut back to some live footage of Q2.
Yep. To answer my own question, I saw Rochford in P17, so put on a hard drive at the end to sneak a few spots up. So, drivers out of position. We have Pete Johnson, Long Lee, Murphy. Who else is out of position? It's really quick.
Who's looking? I mean, Gobby's quick.
But he's in the pits. Did he go out and go back in again? Was he in the top 10? No.
Maybe Yeah, he was. So he must have gone out by accident.
A reflex. Quali on, go.
Yeah, just hit that starter button, hit your pit limiter, and nail the throttle. As we see an opening fastest lap from Pete Viney of a 29.3. Not a bad banker at all, but he'll definitely be looking for more in the remaining 6.5 seconds. That is instantly bettered by Longley with a 28.355, so almost a second better there. Brad Miller, good lap from him at a 29.3.
Oh, yeah. Nice one. Here we go. Well, we're watching the drivers finishing up their warm-up laps. Here we go. He's going to have a... what would you do if you're in the pits? You know, your top 10. You know, what do? You know what I'd do? I'd slip over to a web page, turn it on, and I'd go to simrigs.com and check out the new gear that's available. So shout out for our Simrigs, for our title sponsor. And if you're a patron of OOR, you get 5% off.
And look, I for one can personally vouch for the speed, efficiency, and professionalism of Simrigs. I did recently purchase an upgraded wheelbasing wheel from them, and not only did it arrive in one piece, safe and sound at a great price, but it actually beat the estimated delivery time frame. So that made me one happy boy.
Yep, they're my go-to suppliers for anything sim-related for sure. Yeah, I got my wheel and pedals. Took me a bit of time to get used to my pedals. Had some questions, they answered them, and away I went.
There you go. All right, so back into qualifying as we're starting to get serious now. We've got we've got a timed lap for most of the drivers here on the board, as Longley with a fastest lap of a 28.2. And we were looking at onboard vision there of Benny Curtis, almost half a second up here going into sector 2. So he left a lot of time on the board there in his banker lap. I think
more to come. Sure.
Definitely more to come. And I think, I think it's fair to expect Benny Curtis to be in that same realm as Longley. In that low to mid 28 there. So I think we're going to see a tight battle for the top here in Q2, and he's invalidated. He will be kicking himself. The most important thing that Benny Curtis can do right now is forget that lap, reset, hope to God that he hasn't invalidated the second as well, and go out there and unfortunately have to do the whole thing again. But that was a 28.575 from Curtis there, so quick lap, and good enough for P2 at this stage. So he's got it in him.
Longley put a stonking lap in. No one's even close to that at the moment. We got Pete Viney at 0.8 off. At the same time, never happens. I just noticed Zavaka as well, 0.790.
Seems to happen all the time. As I'm on board with Wee Hines, 6.5 tenths up. Great lap from him, and puts him into provisional P2 with a 28.94. Benny Curtis has managed to find all at the same time that he found on the previous lap, and a little bit more. He's over half a second going into sector 2 here and climbing. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see he's a bit tentative on these final 2 corners here to try and put this lap in the bank and not invalidate like we did last time. As a quick lap there from Igor of a 28.7 and puts him to provisional P2. As we currently keep watching Benny Curtis here, Damo.
He was very safe, you're right. I would have sent it, because, here we go, good exit, 0.6, 0.5, so 0.7? Not quite. And it only gets him... that
He invalidated again.
No, it was a double invalidation. If you're too fast in the last 2 corners and you invalidate it, it gets the next one as well. Yeah. So if you do that, you get 2 invalid laps, and you're probably better off not backing off because you'll lose your momentum. As we see Scott Rochford, outright P2, not outright P2, sorry, currently P2 at 4.4 off pole.
And Longley's parked it in the pits, and with 2 minutes to go, I don't think that's going to give him enough time to do an outlap and another flying lap. So I'd say qualifying is over for the number 70 Mercedes machine there, as we're looking at Igor Zavaka in the 99 GTR currently sitting in provisional P4 and hasn't found a huge amount of time on this lap. Managed to keep it valid through the penultimate corner, keeps it valid through the final corner, and finds a little bit of time there on exit. The gaps are tight, but they're not that tight, so that isn't going to put him too far up the time tree. Benny Curtis, deja vu, 6.5 tenths up on his one recorded flying lap coming into the final two corners. Can he manage to keep it green here? He's lost a tenth or so on entry, but he's picking most of it back up here on exit, and he'll cross the line 6.2 tenths to the better of his previous time, and he's 3.5 tenths off Long Lee with the 28.2 there.
Long Lee in his first qualifying was roughly the same time. I think it was 28.1, so quite a valid similar time. And Ben Curtis was only, what are we looking at, 4 tenths behind. So yeah, Long Lee relatively safe, as we see Curtis parking up as well, with the drivers bringing in their last lap. Still people can cross the line with 30 seconds to go.
Very interesting. I've just had a look. Zach Jensen in the pits again. So obviously planning to start from the back again. He is holding firm to that strategy. It didn't play out well for him all that well in race 1. So we'll see how that goes in race 2. Igor Zavaka 3 and a bit tenths up on his flying lap. He's lost a bit on the. Yeah, that'll take him up to sort of P2 or 3, and there we go.
Ooh.
And he's bumped Benny Curtis off the front row there. He will be stoked with that one. Will Mr. Igor in that?
Oh, watch this. Oh, he's invalidated. Oh, Rochford was so fast going into that second last corner. That was epic. He was on track for pole.
We just see a car go into the gravel trap there on the exit of the final corner.
Oh, I was looking at the time, to be honest.
I'm not sure if that was just my eyes playing tricks on me. Pete Viney, good lap here going at the moment. 4 tenths up on his previous best lap. Coming through. I don't know how you can get away with calling turn 1 and turn 3 the sink here, Damo. Because from what we've seen, it's definitely these final 2 corners. This is where laps go to die, is these final 2 corners, especially at qualifying. Pete Viney, great lap, 4.5 tenths up, puts him at P3. And he will be sharing the second row of the grid with the 83 Mustang of Benny Curtis. Cut to Anderson, crosses the line at P7 and posts a 28.7. So good lap from him. A lot going on in that qualifying session.
It was very, very active in the last few minutes. People really getting their eye in and really tuned up and going for it.
I'm not a smart enough man to work out this reverse grid without the help of the race director. So as we're watching this vision of the cars just tweaking their setups before this final race, interestingly enough, air and track temp have dropped significantly. So air temp down to 22, track temp down to 25. So expect this to be a very quick race for these drivers. They should have some more grip available. The grip is green as well, so forget where I just said that there's going to be some more grip available. There's definitely going to be less, but we are going to see the track ramp up through the session. And for those drivers that have got great car control, there's spoils to be found on the first opening laps, I think, here.
Hey, did you just say that the track is green at the moment? Not fast, not optimum, but green. Yeah?
But green, yeah, correct. According to ACC Drive, the grip is green.
Wow, did they send the water trucks out between sessions?
Looks like it might be a glitch because the...
oh, there we go.
Yeah, track is showing optimum in ACC, so it could just be an ACC Drive thing. Would have been more exciting if they were starting on a green track. That would have been cool.
Oh, you're not wrong. Yeah, it's like a wet track to start with, right?
There you go. Our illustrious organisers that keep this brilliant organisation going for us, season in, season out. There's a hot little tip for you. How about we start on a green track for a super sprint one season?
Pass. Well, I'll commentate it, but I won't drive it.
It would be heaps of fun to commentate, of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Not a well. Look, we'll see where Murphy ends up, but not an amazing qualifying session from him. But from memory, is he? I know we've got a couple of drivers in OOR that often purposely start from the back to see how far they can drive through the field, and that's kind of just how they get their jollies. If someone can jump in chat, Damo, maybe is that pretty standard from Murphy?
I don't recall. I really don't. Every time I've seen him race, he's been battling hard, battling fast. With the that's a yes.
We're getting a big yes from Benny Hignett. So we'll wait and see. You know, he made up 13 positions on the last lap. Wow, that would have been incredible. 13 positions in the last race. So we'll see how he goes this time. Currently starting from P20.
All right, so the reverse top 10, I've used a Wayback Machine of YouTube, and we're going to have Ramirez, Samuel, Crick, Chalmers leading out. Gobi, Warren, Bascovis, Torfik, Squires, Ellis, and Samuel, Shady Samuel, who won the race, will be in P10. So it'd be really interesting now to see Ellis battle Squires, battle Samuel, battle Torfik, while they, at the same time, are battling some of the slightly slower drivers ahead of them. This one is, yeah, I'm glad it's not me.
So you're saying you think this one's going to be the Spice Fest, Domo?
Oh my God. Get your popcorn now, get your drinks now, settle in, and it's going to be an extremely fast 30 minutes. It's going to feel like 10 minutes. I swear to you. I promise you. I'll double the bet that I lost to you last time.
So what? You're going to put up 20 cents? Because I think we were doing 10-cent bets last race, weren't we?
I'm up to 50 now.
50 cents. Wow. All right, big bet. I've just also just had a quick look. We have 39 viewers currently watching the stream and only 11 likes video. So guys, click that like button. It's now up to 40. Oh, we had 40 and someone left. Shame on you. But click that like button. Let's get this video as high up the charts as we can to bring as much attention to our adored league as we can.
Yes. Your pick for the race? Oh, this is great drone view. Oh, I like this.
Yeah, this is cool. My pick for the race. Oh, that's a hard one. I'm going to go...
I got mine.
You've got yours. I'm going to go with Buscovis, starting in P6.
I was going Torfig.
Oh, it's on.
Yep. 50 cent.
It's on. 50 cent bet. Winner takes all. So we've got... so your starting top 10. Ramez, P1 from Cricky, Chalmers, Gobby, Warren, Buscovis, Taufik, Squires, Ellis, Samuel, Longley, Zavaka, Viney, Curtis, Weeheim, Rochford. Great qualifying from Weeheim there. Rochford, Anderson, Miller, Brickley, Ningchan, Braid, Jensen and Murphy both starting from the back. So they're going for that pro esports strat, and they have got their fingers and toes crossed for a bit of carnage in race 2 of round 9.
And just quickly, Johnson has not made it to the grid by looks of it.
Yeah, and I'd say he's out if he's having hardware issues there. Damo, do you want to take this one away?
I choose not to. Sorry, mate.
No, you're right. You're no dramas there at all as we line up to do it all again. We've got Ramez and Crick going over their grid boxes there, leading the field away. We're waiting for race to initialise, and we are green and off and racing. And there's a great start from Ramez Samuel there. Absolutely no challenge from the back. Makes it clean into turn 1. A bit of bump and grind. We've got a car park. It is an absolute car park. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's almost half the field, Damo. Safety car has been deployed, so we'll have a little bit of time for the drivers to clean that one up and hopefully to get a couple of replays. Race 2 has delivered before we even got through the apex of turn 1.
Was that because I didn't do the commentating on the start? Is this my fault? Is
I
this my
think so.
commentator curse?
Yeah, I
But
think so,
But I
mate.
didn't
That
say
was your fault.
anything.
Well, the universe needed you to call that. As we get a
we
replay
go.
here. So there is a lot going on. So it was sort of around Ellis and Aiden that all started.
Oh,
so
Curtis. Curtis was in
someone
the wall.
slammed in. Yeah, someone slammed into the back of Curtis there. I didn't quite see which car that was, but I think that was what started the domino effect. There was someone slammed into the back of Curtis and has ricocheted him into the gaggle of cars trying to make their way cleanly through turn one there.
And he would have bounced forward as well and bumped the car in front. Here we go, another replay. Yeah.
So that's the 62 Porsche. Oh, who's the 62 Porsche, Damo?
We are checking. That's Bruce Miller. Our A-class winner from last race.
So, yeah, there we go. We're going to have a lot of cars on the grid carrying a lot of damage. That is going to shake this race up, something fierce. Safety car is being called in this lap. So once we pass the safety car control line, we'll be back up to racing speed, and cars are free to pass. He's holding very well. Cars are going to be free to pass once we cross the start-finish line here, and Ramez is gone. He's bolted. He caught... he caught...
No, Crick's got it. He got it wrong.
Wow. Cricky's done fantastic there to get that. And he's slowed himself into P1. And we've had another incident there between one of the Kovacs Porsches and a livery that I don't quite recognise, as we're going to go 3 wide through turn 2, 4 wide through turn 2 and up the hill. This is going to be tears and beers here as we get a big touch there from Viney into the side of Ramez, who manages to rejoin the racetrack safely. A little bit of bump and grind there for Towel Freak from Cobby for good measure. And race 2 is definitely delivering here.
There we go. 4 into half.
Oh, wow. Wow. That was some fantastic heads-up driving to keep that McLaren out of the front. I believe that's Longley's Mercedes. He's done so well to keep Buscobus out of the front end there. And these drivers are absolutely on it tonight. Interestingly, Shady only up 1 spot so far into P9, so he hasn't made the quick charge up the field that we would have been expecting. Looks like he's going to make 1, maybe 2 positions here if he can get it. As we cut to this lovely long shot cam, there goes Cricky, Warren, Chalmers, and too many cars for my slow voice to call there. What a race so far.
Nuts. If I may indulge myself and go back to the start, I think Ramez thought the gantry at the lights as we go into turn 1. Oh, Longley had a look on Viney and did Chalmers Viney and did not get through. I think he thought the gantry was the start finish line, where the start finish line is like much closer to the last corner. As we go, Tall Fig getting under challenge from Viney and holds off and turn around. Oh, here we go. This double
and
packs.
Another car park. I haven't seen this many cars parked in the one spot since I went to Walmart, Damo.
Oh, it's a Split Blood is back for good.
I tell you what, I am stoked that I'm not in the steward's room tonight. They have got their work cut out for them. If they can unravel the incidents that we've had in these first 2 laps in the 25 minutes we've got remaining, my hat's off to them tonight. This has been chaos.
Oh my God. Look who's in P2. We got Warren with the fastest lap of the race, currently in P2, chasing down Mike Crick by 0.3 seconds. We have Ramez Samuel falling down an extra spot to P4, 1.96. And Torfik in P4 with Shady Samuel right on him. This will be a hot finish. As we're racing with Warren, chasing down Mike Crick. Porsche on Nissan. This will be interesting. Nissan not known for heavy braking. Porsche is. Nissan known for excellent acceleration, but Porsche known for good traction. Race on. Here we go. And Longley is having a look at Goody. In his 2-litre...
he does. His 2-litre EcoBoost Mustang decides that he's not going to have
get it back round. It's up. Murphy was having a look on the car. And they're off at the back. Murphy went extremely deep in the
Right.
background, coming back on. How's this rejoin going to go? It's action stations. Holy dooly, I can't keep up.
Oh, I definitely can't keep up. I tell you what, we've got some massive winners from those couple of incidents. Rob Brickley up into P10 from somewhere in the 20s. He has gained huge from those incidents. Same with Liam Braid up into P15. He's gained massively. Anyone that stands out to you, Gamo, that has really sort of done very well from those couple of whoopsies that we had.
I'm seeing a lot of losers. We've got Chalmers back in P22, Wyhan down in 23, Miller maintaining spot, Rochford dropped a spot, Murphy's moved up, Squires has dropped back, he's in P14, Jensen mid-pack, Ellis hasn't moved forward, probably got caught up in a bit of mess as we're watching him here.
Where's Murphy?
Murphy's
Murphy,
back.
P16.
16, yeah. Oh,
As,
here we go. Ellis having a look.
Yeah, Breno here going to make a move on Rob Brickley. Rob gives him loads of room. Understand that's not his race nor his pace there. So lets the green and yellow Porsche of Breno through. And it's smart driving there from Rob, who now has Zach Jensen for company. And these two are teammates. And we've got a bit of a tradition in our team, and that is somehow we always end up driving into each other. So we'll keep a keen eye on that battle as well. As we see, yeah, they did very well to stay out of the side of each other there. As Aiden had a look on the 99 machine of Igor Zavaka into turn one there, and we're going to get a replay. So this is Aiden on Murphy.
Oh, little bump.
Big squeeze to the inside. Oh my word! That's a murder.
Still going forward though. Not too bad.
Wow, was there any application of the brake pedal there? He looks like he's hit him at full flying speed.
Oh, I think he downshifted for sure. Brakes, option.
Who needs brakes? As Mike Crick in the 87 GTR still leading this race by 3/10 to the 222 Porsche of Zach Warren. Pro-Am defending against Silver. Cricky, one of the big winners. As one of the big winners of this reverse start grid, as he goes very, very wide in between the last two corners there. Taufik all over the back of Ramez. He's shown his intentions early. He's going to go up the inside here. That's allowed space for Shady to close that gap. I'm not sure whether it was quite a smart move from Taufik there, and he now has that menacing Mustang all over the back of him. For this charge up the hill where that Coyote V8 in front of the Mustang. Here we go. Look at that. Look at the power. Taufik is going to have to defend the apex very, very tightly here and make Shady work for it. But much better drive from the Mustang on exit. And unfortunately leaves that poor Ferrari in the dust.
I'm hoping these two keep battling much, much harder. Go on, Taufik. Go faster and do an overtake on Shady. No reason.
I'd love to see a swap back there for that position, but you know, one thing that has happened is we're 10 minutes in and Shady is up 6 spots into P4, and he's currently 7/10 off the back of his brother Ramez. So I wonder if we're going to get some family orders and a bit of a wave through here for Shady, or whether I'd love to see them go toe to toe and for Ramez to make him work for it here, as Warren is all over the back of Cricky in the GTR. You'd be lucky to get a bit of paper between those two cars there as they round the penultimate corner, dive down the hill through the final corner, and that gap has widened. The GTR now on full noise, making those turbos absolutely scream, and he has managed to gap the Porsche a little bit.
Oh, I was just watching a bit of a slide there by the Nissan. Got good traction out, well controlled. And I was also looking at Ellis, right on the back of Viney. It was, and also we got Gobi. I'm not sure if Ellis got past Gobi or if Gobi's caught right up. So there's going to be a lot of activity coming. Oh, I just saw Taufik have a very deep braking moment, trying to keep up with Sadie Samuel there.
There we go, as Breno makes a move up the inside of the 118 Porsche there of Pete Viney. Seems like he's been able to make that move stick. Bit of a hot skip and a jump from Viney on exit there as he catches a bit of the grass. and I don't think he's going to be able to go around the outside here. As we jump back onto the Battle of the Brothers, the Samuels versus the Samuels. No family orders here so far. I wonder if Ramez is going to make him do this on merit.
Oh, I think we will see. Shady Samuel giving a lot of respect to Torfig through turn 3, so I think be clean pass is the order of the day.
In the order of this race so far, Damo. And we've not seen one penalty pop up yet, so I'm thinking the stewards are still making their way through. Shady all over the back of the Mercedes there. I thought for sure he'd throw it up the inside, but I think he's going to bide his time and make his move up the hill into turn 3, where the Mustang is just so strong up this hill.
Oh, he got the legs on Torfig in the second part, which is where we are now. Braking, no, staying flat. Look at this. This is P1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all in one shot. Don't get that too often. This is going to be epic.
How long can Cricky hold out here?
I think he can do it. It's just, it depends on Shady Samuel.
See, I wonder if the Samuel brothers have got a bit of a code word here, if they're going to be using any family or team orders there, Damo.
I'd say you hit me and you're dead. And with that in mind, we got Samuel. They're only 0.1 back, 0.3 now between Warren and Crick. Ramez Samuel 0.6. Is that what we got? 1.5. Less than 2 seconds separates the top 5 cars. This is a screaming race. Crick coming down the last 2 corners. Looking like Warren's got the better run on the turn in for the second last corner and the last corner. We've also got Torfig actually closing right up onto the back of Shady Samuel, who's got a tiny bit held up. He's going to have a little look. Had a little wiggle, staying his view. No, not making a pass. Oh, Warren's had a big look at Crick. Crick stays in front. The drag down to turn 3 is going to be pretty epic. We have Shady Samuel on the outside of Ramez, and Warren falling tiny bit behind because of the Nissan power. Having a look up the inside with the big Porsche braking as a big move. I think he's got it. And here we go. So we got Warren back through on Crick. Go on, Crick, keep that power down. And we got Shady Samuel getting through on Ramez, and Torfig still holding check in P5.
I think we're going to need to see a replay.
Good.
I say, I want to see a replay of that Samuel v Samuel pass there. And just looking at the times, Shady's fastest lap is a second quicker than both of the cars in front. So it feels like it's only a matter of time until he resumes position at the front of this field. As Cricky goes deep under brakes there, Shady sniffs a bit of an opportunity up the inside, but has lost it on exit to Ramez. And Torfig joining this battle as well. Damo well spotted. He's thrown it up the inside of Shady there, forcing him wide. Shady has left the track, and so we'll need to concede that position to Torfig. This is the race we wanted. This is fantastic.
Turn 1, here we go. Send it. Send it.
Oh, wow.
Send it.
Look at the drive of that Mustang up the straight. Well ahead of Torfig into the braking zone. No send needed there, but he's got him on exit.
Oh my God. Can he do it? The last time, Shady dragged out. And as we also got Ramez on Crick. Ramez had a big, deep look on Crick. Crick's given some space, wants to keep a very good result, getting a better drive out of turn 3, as Shady stays in front of Torfig as well. Is he going to get him under turn 4? No, surely not around the outside. Can be done. He's holding it around the outside. Oh,
can he get the exit though? At least, and he'll have the inside into turn 5 here, but he has lost touch with that Mercedes there a little bit, and he's now got the menacing Mustang of Shady all over the back of him too. Is he going to throw it? No, had a bit of a look up into the inside of turn 6 there.
No, Cricky, no, Cricky. Oh, keep going, son, keep going. You're behind Boscovas now. It's all right. Still good position.
big moment there from Cricky, and that has plummeted him down the order a little bit. We'll wait for the sector times to update, but as Damo rightfully spotted, slotted somewhere in behind Buscovis there. And that is Shady up to P3, and he's now got a second gap to Ramez in P2. And these guys are going to need to be quick because Warren has got the hammer down, and he is absolutely flying out front.
Yeah, Warren has skedaddled. Here we go, replay. This is the slide from Ramez. Underpowers going down. Yep, you take it.
No, you're right. I was going to say, yeah, so he's had an oversteer moment on exit there. He's taken to the inside, which is allowed
move up the
outside
front.
line.
Really deep on the brakes. Mike,
there was a
racing room.
There was a hip and shoulder there.
Oh, from
the triple two on the way through, and then Ramez has given poor old Taufik a tap on the way through for good measure. He's been in the wars tonight in the 711 Porsche there. Porsche Ferrari, excuse me.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what they think of the Ferrari. Just like, get out of my way. I'd just like to redirect you down to P19, P20. There's something interesting brewing there. The AN class, head to tail. But we didn't notice there was contact in turn 1, lap 1, so we're still waiting for some penalties to come through. This is the Mike moment. How'd he save it? Good save. Whoa! What a save.
He's done so well.
That's a good save.
Well done. I wondered, did he lose the position to Breno there? No, he managed to stick in front. Very well saved there from Cricky. Breno's going to be hunting the 87 GTR here.
Now we'll see some braking manoeuvres. See, this is what I'm talking about. So now we're close enough for a really big, deep braking manoeuvre from Ellis. Let's see it. The Porsche's nice and close in the slipstream. It's going to ducks out, signal sent, and Mike's given a little space. I expected more for deep braking from the Porsche there.
That's been Cricky's move all night. Whenever someone throws it up the inside there, he's taking advantage of the GTR's exit acceleration, taking a wider line, letting the driver on the inside compromise their exit from a tight line.
Yeah. Yep. Cricky knows this car well. He's got the inside for turn. That's 5. This is 6. Should see a green Porsche behind, and there it is. Oh, it's aero damage and diffuser damage too. Oh, that's gonna be awful. Makes it through though. Good driving.
Yeah, I say not awful enough. He has managed to make his way through Cricky there and slots himself up into P6. As Taufik looking for a move on the back of Samuel. Samuel has closed the gap up to Ramez there to under 3/10. So the battle is still on for 2, 3, and 4 here. Zach Warren hasn't quite made the impression and clear out the front that I'm sure he would have hoped. Still only sitting at 1.2 seconds adrift from Ramez. We've only got 11 minutes left in this race, Damo.
Tell you what, it's only been going for 4 minutes, so epic race. And look who else who hasn't moved much in this race. It's Chris Murphy, still down to 16th position. He's been there since lap 2.
Yeah, very surprising.
One car that has moved up was, as you mentioned, Brickley, because I was looking at Savaka. I was hoping to, in a slightly sad way, move in front of the Porsche of Brickley, and then we'll have
massive
what happened there?
Massive tap from Gobby. That was huge. Rob will be absolutely fuming there. We'll have a look at this.
That's a long way back.
The Eco Boost, and not as big as I first thought, but big enough to have the Porsche sitting the wrong way. He'll be fuming, Rob.
Yeah.
Taken out into turn 3 in both race 1 and 2. He has had a night to forget.
And Rochford even had a tap with some of the checking up that was happening there, so he's going to have a little bit of aero damage on the front. Not sure if the car in front slowed down a little bit more than expected, or Gobby just went a little bit deeper than expected. Bit tricky to tell for me on that one. As we have R Samuel and S Samuel racing into turn 1.
He's so much faster on entry there. I don't know why he's not throwing it up the inside. He obviously prefers to make his move into turn 3 and 4. than he does into turn 1, but that compromised his exit severely. Look, he's a much quicker racer, a much better racer than I is, Shady, so I'm sure he has his reasons and logic, but that one's a puzzling one.
Got to make a clean pass. It's on the car behind to make a clean pass. As we have Braden in the pits from P2 in AN class, who was running P18 overall, is into the pits. I think he may have had a bit of damage. And there's the one.
Here we go.
Yeah. Bad luck, Bruce. That's a DT for your left one, turn 1 inside.
So that's taken something like 18 minutes of unpacking, and here the penalties roll out. 15 seconds for Breno Ellis being served as well, as we see these penalties start to drop now. We're currently on board with Buscovis in the McLaren, not too far off the back of Taufik here, and a drive penalty for Ramez.
Collision on lap 2. Was that on lap 2? That would have been... No, not the safety car. As Taufik's having a look at Shady.
I'm not quite sure what that lap 2 incident is for Ramez.
He would have been... he was at the front with Crick. So what happened there?
You know, on the restart he was first, and then he got jumped by Cricky. So I'm not sure.
Okay, here we go. Shady's still behind Ramez and Taufik having a go, and we are looking at the race start. This is a replay? But that's where Ramez didn't get it and Cricky got in. Had a good start. That's Finey. Gobi next. Warren. The white car, I'm not sure. Oh, hello. Sticky throttle for Ramez.
So he got absolutely swamped there. Throws it to the inside, up the inside of Warren, and then, there you go.
Oh, that's the one, yeah.
Into the side of Viney there.
Okay. I wasn't watching his throttle trace, so there's a lot of pens for the cars up front. So who's going to be a big winner? Longley. Going to be a big winner from this. As Ramez looking at entering the pits, done it correctly. Makes it a bit sketchy, and it's released Shady Samuel, who needs to chase down, let's call it 2 seconds on Warren.
And fastest laps of the race, Warren with a 28.7 and Shady with a 27.9. The best of the tyres will be gone as Buscovis there takes to the runoff area, doesn't quite make it through turn 1 cleanly. 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th are going to be big winners here from these penalties from some of our front runners as well. Not as many penalties handed out as I was expecting from how many cars we saw all over the track.
Yep. As we see Longley get past Crick and Squires catching up. And here we go, we've got Jensen
on Viney here. Decided to go the outside, which is brave, especially in that Audi. Viney deep under brakes, looking for the switchback. Little tap for good measure there, but rubbing is racing. And, unfortunately couldn't get the job done. That's compromised his exit pretty heavily. And look at the chain of cars behind these two. Jensen up the inside on Viney. They managed to keep it clean. Can he make this move stick? So far, so good, but they've got the run downhill into turn 5. Slight opal out from the 95 machine here. The 118 tight up the inside using all of the curve on the apex there, and he will now have the side into turn 7 and 8. Can the Audi hang with him? Whoa, turn 9 is a brave place to make a move.
And behind as well.
Very brave place to make a move. He's taken that very tight, far tighter than he needed to. Better exit there from the 118 machine. This battle's almost going to go a whole lap here.
I think so. That's actually allowed Savanka to have a good run on Viney. Not Viney. Jensen. Into turn 1. Very deep. Oh, he's squirreling under brakes. It's like wobbling around. And we've got Murphy catching up as well. And that was Rochford and Gobi all together. So we've got P9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all side by side.
All battling for P9 here.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong? Absolutely nothing.
Wow, very wide entry there from Murphy, using a speed token, no doubt, to see if he can get past the fast exiting GDR there of Igor Savaka. He's made his intentions clear early and moved to the inside as Rochford has overtaken Gobby into T3 there. Gobby looking for another way through on that purple and white Porsche to no avail. We jump back on with the 101 Porsche of Murphy, currently sitting pretty behind these two. Zavaka has sort of lost touch a little bit with our two leading runners as Jensen looking for a way back through on that Porsche and unable to find it so far.
I'll tell you one thing, if Jensen does get through, he's got a massive gap ahead into Squires, so it's just battling for one position here. So they're all battling for, what are we looking at, P9.
And this is what we're expecting from tonight's Super Sprint round. Especially when we go reverse grid, it does nothing but absolutely shake the grid up and make for some of the most exciting racing that we get all season. Zach Jensen goes to the inside. He's going to force Viney round the hard way, hits the apex nicely. Both cars get a good exit, so we'll now run up the hill to turn 3. And I'm getting a bit of deja vu here, Damo.
I've never seen this before. What's happening? Do tell.
We got a little bit of overlap there from Jensen in the 95 machine. Can he make it stick? Viney round the outside, much better exit from the Porsche as they make the run down to turn 4 here. But this battle has now been this close for officially over a lap, with these cars racing within inches of each other. Zach's going to go the inside line again.
Oh,
here.
at the time, I go at the back. Oh, sorry, I just saw Gobi at the back.
You're fine. You're fine.
That was so close. And Viney's got the inside for turn 6. I think he's got it. Oh, Squires with a pen. Whoa, more coming. Can we get Jensen to hang around the outside? No, he's got to kick down in the middle. You know what else is up front? I know it's super busy here, but at the front, Warren is still in front of Sadie Samuel by 1.6 seconds. He's only lost half a second in the last 2 laps. Here we go, around the outside. I think he's got it.
Oh, great move. Some great driving there from Zach. Well done.
Anyone else has got a good run here? We have Rochford on Murphy had a good run as we see Jensen get past Viney. Is that an extra car at the back? That is
Ramez. Ramez has joined the back of his train. Murphy almost into the back of the 118 Porsche there and has to bail out of that. That's allowed. That's opened the door for Rochford up the hill. The blue GDR absolutely charging as well. They're looking to the outside here, which is an interesting tactic, especially against a Porsche. Murphy's going to make him work for it, but yeah, the GDR didn't quite get the exit that he was looking for there. So the battle...
Sorry, look at the timing between Ramesh Samuel and Pete Chalmers. Pete Chalmers has just announced that he has joined this Gaggle Cars as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars. Oh, yeah, that's half the field.
Yeah, that's from 9th to 16th, all battling in a chain here as we get a 15-second penalty for Timmy Gobe for his lap 3 incident there. Zach in clean air is checking out a little bit from Pete Viney. That gap now up to 7.5 tenths of a second at the last sector line. Chris Murphy with the little incident that he had into turn 1 and up the hill into turn 3.
Oh no! What?
Oh wow!
Well, that's unfortunate.
Oh, that's crushing. That is crushing for Zach. He's driven a stellar race so far. But I haven't seen that penalty pop up onto the timing tree yet. So whether that's just delayed or...
For Warren? Yeah.
Oh, Warren, Roger. Sorry, wrong Zach.
Yep.
Too many Zachs in this race. As we're watching, Ramez is now going to run on Gobby in the number 14 Ford EcoBoost Mustang there. Again, all of these drivers deciding to go to the outside at turn 3. Interesting move. Leaves enough room on the apex there. It's now a battle of the exits between these two beasts of machines.
Hello. Sorry. The time is over. This is the last lap. Leader is coming up to the second last corner. Now, these guys really need to get their act together if they want to get a position in. Race is practically over. Sorry,
yeah,
continue.
Wow, that has absolutely flown. as Gobby is making
Leader crossing the
work
line.
for it here. So leader crossing the line. We've got the picture in picture. So we've got Warren from Samuel. He did manage to hold Samuel off there. Great race from Zach Warren. Taufik P3, Ellis P4, Buscovas P5, Longley P6, and Cricky will cross the line in P7. As we look at this train of 5 cars here that are duking it out for the last of the top 10 positions there. So Ramez all over the back of Igor, and we've got Viney P10, Murphy 11, Rochford 13, Zavaka 13, Ramez, Gobby, Chalmers, Anderson. Now comes Weeheim in the 24 Mercedes to cross the line, a P18. Rob Brickley, disappointing night for Rob tonight in the 109 Porsche, P19. Ning Chan crossing the line in P30.
I reckon Mike Crick could pull for P4 here.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how these penalties shake out. Warren has pipped Samuel on the track, but he's got that out of position 10-second penalty, which is going to drop him a long way down the timing tree.
I'd be disappointed. Here we go. No, sorry. There's just people going through. We'll need to look at the end plates. Wow. And nighttime to cool everything down. Whew.
Wow, what a race. Yeah, you and me both. All right. Let's get a look at our final standings for race 2, as Breno's going to go out for some celebratory drifty boys with his headlights on. All right, race 2. So Samuel, Taufik, Longley taking out your top 3 for both overall and the pro class. We'll go to our silver class drivers now, and we've got Warren from Jensen, Ramez, Weeheim, and Gobby. Pro-Am, we have Cricky, Viney, Rochford, Zavaka, Chalmers, Anderson, Brickley, Ningchan, and Curtis. And the sole remaining AM driver of Brad Miller takes out the top step on the podium for AM, followed by Liam Braid, who decided to park it in the pits. If we can, let's just leave this overall timing screen up for 2 seconds to get a bit of an idea of who are our winners and losers.
Yeah.
Cricky finished P5, which is a great result from him. He'll be kicking himself for that oversteer moment that he had through sector 2 there while he was leading the race. He did manage to keep Breno Ellis and Buscovas behind there. Where did Warren end up? P4, so not as far back as we could have thought. Ellis, Buscovas, and Squires all copying invoices from the stewards there, which dropped them down the field a little bit as well. What a race!
Epic.
What a race, Damo! Epic. That was huge.
Epic. Yep. For that race 2, I'll say Longley driver of the day. Couldn't say driver of the series. It's too complicated for me. Your thoughts?
Mate, I'm going to choose Zach Jensen for my driver of the day, especially in race 2. He started from the back. He stuck to his strategy. It didn't quite work out for him in race 1. Paid dividends in race 2, but God, did he have to work for it in the dying stages of that race there. Yep. So, hats off to Zach. Stellar drive. Final thoughts from yourself, Damo?
I'm happy for Mike that he got a very good result without getting murdered.
You and me both. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end to round 9 of the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series for this week. I have been Sam O'Brien. You have had Damiano Turcolini and Benny Hignett on the cameras for round 9 here at the Red Bull Ring. I hope you enjoyed that race as much as we did. And we'll see you back same time, same place next week for our season decider. Good night and have a good one.
Right. See everyone. Bye.